Welcome, ladies and gents, to another Tom's Chats with Mr. Stephen Stretch Harman. Thank you, Stephen, for being here.
You're welcome.
How are you feeling?
Tip top, yeah. Very good. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I'm very much looking forward to this. It's it's not every day people ask you about what you've been up to and what you do and what you think of stuff over the years. So yeah, go for it.
I was saying to my flatmates yesterday, this is going to be a funny one because we both love the sound of our own voice.
Yeah.
So getting a word in edgeways might be tricky. But anyway, we'll see how it goes.
How we got? Still here next week.
All right, that's it. Finished. Thanks very much. Anyway, for those that don't know Steve, or I call him Stretch, tell us how you got the nickname Stretch.
It's not really that exciting, really.
Don't tell us then.
Okay. First couple of bars I ever worked in, there was always another Steve. And then the first place I ever worked with, I was a glass collector. Just some cocky guy just went, "Oh, Stretch," and then everyone called me Stretch. And then next bar there was a Steve, and then next bar there wasn't. But then the guy, we'll get onto him in a bit. But the guy used to introduce the bartenders to everyone. He was like, "Steve from Coventry just doesn't sound very good." And I was like, "Well, my mates called me Stretch." He went, "That's in. You're from London now as I was like,
yeah.
All right.
Steve from Coventry, Stretch from London.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. But and then I'd never go hi. I'm Stretch. I'm Steve, but I don't mind being called Stretch. But it's something I didn't choose for myself. You know.
I can't. I find it weird calling you Steve now. Still,
a lot of people that I've met, I had no idea your name was Steve. I thought you were Dave.
I thought you were a Dave. So before we go any further, I am doing a giveaway. All you need to do is comment down below what was the first cocktail you ever drank or tried, and I'll be choosing at random somebody to win this Tiki tin on tin shaker, which I think you might agree it's pretty fucking sexy, no?
It's very good. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Anyway, so yeah, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you like it. And
It's got your signature on the bottom as well.
And it's got my name on the bottom.
Like
as well.
engraved.
Engraved.
That's pretty cool.
That's never coming off. It's there forever.
That's very good.
Anyway, so let's get on with today's chats. We are here with Mr. Stephen Stretch Harman. Steve. Fucking hell.
It's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? Stretch. Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and why you're here.
I'm Steve Harman. I've been in the industry since 2001. Various roles, obviously bartender to bar manager. Now I'm an account manager for a spirits company working down in the south coast. So my job is to basically, I have 40 brands, basically to convince bars, restaurants, hotels and nightclubs to put the said brands on the menu. So yeah, I've done a bit of everything in the industry and some tales to tell. So
I'm sure we're going to get to
we'll
some of those tales.
into some of those.
But you can plug away for the 7 people that might watch this.
Hello, all 7 people.
Mangrove, is
Mangrove, yeah, Mangrove UK. So we're basically an ecosystem for brands. Basically, all of our brands have some sort of sustainability impact to the world. And they're all of a premium level. So
give us some of the brand names.
El Jimador Tequila, Black Cow Vodka, Portobello Road Gin, El Bandera Vermouth, and their new one, which is the Al Fresco. Check it out, very, very nice. Like I said, it's 40. They're the ones that jump off the top of my head straight away. But they're all amazing. Giffard liqueurs, which is huge around the world.
I didn't know you had those.
Yeah. So and there's you think of a flavour, they've got it. And if they haven't got it, they'll make it. Loads of different things, a lot to learn about in order for me to sell to people, which is quite taxing. Given my background in the bar world, I'm not exactly your spirits expert, but I know enough to talk to people about. But menu creation, menu development training, offer all kinds of things. We're a service. We're not just like, how many cases you want? See you later. We continue those relationships with our account.
Well, there you go. Anyone looking in the UK, you want to get some super cool products, here's your guy. Anyway, let's go back, because what I like to do is speak about where you began, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
And see where it takes us.
There's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
So strap in, make yourself a lovely cocktail. But yeah, where did you start? How old were you when you started bartending? Where did you start? Who got you into it?
Yeah, so 17 and a half. First part as a glass collector. To take you back even further, I left school, the opportunity to join a football academy. I was a goalkeeper. I'm still involved with football now as a coach at a semi-professional level, but I was hoping to go pro. Now, those guys down the pub going, my knee, all this. I wasn't good enough. I'll hold my hands up. I got to a semi-pro level at 17, 18, and then the day you get released, it's kind of like I didn't want to look at a football, never mind even kick one. So it's kind of like my life was just a fork, shall we say. Sure. It's like, where am I going with this? And I went to a place called Chicago Rock Cafe in Coventry, where I'm from, and all the bartenders, I got in at 17 and a half, but, all the bartenders were dancing on the bar. I was like, I want to do that. I spoke to the bar manager, he's like, there's nothing for you. And then I went back like 3 times in a week. Anything for me now? Like, Jesus, mate, you're persistent. That guy's still a really good mate of mine today. So he gave me a job. I got on the bar a little bit. But
Who was
then
the guy?
His name was John Barrett. So he's now got a couple of bars and restaurants in the Midlands.
Nice.
He's doing really well for himself. Still a good friend. He actually said, look, Steve, if you want to take this serious, and which I think I was looking at like, this is something I want to do full time, something I can do. It's basically these and these, you know, which drama and sport I was good at school, maths, geography, science, not so good. So I thought, yeah, this is something I can really excel at and hopefully make a bit of a career of and see the world as well.
Sure.
And he said, look, if you want to get better at this, the best place in Coventry at the time was TGI Fridays. Now this is 01. So just
2001.
yeah, so
19 years ago.
yeah, and he was like, you got to go to Fridays. It happened to be like literally 10 minutes walk from my house. So I went in, this little girl looking for a job, and they were literally, again, it was like, no mate, see you later. And then again, I just had to show persistence. And then these 2 guys, I haven't seen them in over 15 years, but big shout out to a guy called Steve Darwin and a guy called Gary Mills, who took me under their wing.
Sure.
And taught me the basics. And I still think very fondly of TGI Fridays now for that basic, that they taught me how to do this and how to serve 2 people at once, basic spirit knowledge, cocktail knowledge.
Upselling.
Upselling. And the manual, it was hardcore, you know. It wasn't just, come and jump on the bar. They worked you through it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that was where I started and did my time in the trenches, shall we say.
Same here. I went from a bar called Jefferson's to TGI Fridays, and I mean TGI Fridays back then was the place you went to learn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got the same thing, the same advice. Go to TGI Fridays and cut your teeth there.
Pretty much like the only, again, I was only 18, but like as far as I'm aware, one of the few bars in the country that could free pour, you know, like legally, you know, and things like that, and just the slickness of it all, and the characters and the egos. It was just like, yeah, we're the bar team. I was just like, I want to be like them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, it was cool. Thoroughly enjoyed my time there.
And then so did you start flaring at TGI Fridays?
Yeah, so, well, if you're going to jump onto Flair there, it's just like, because I know you do clips with the guys and stuff, but literally I got hold of a video cassette of one of the lads just went, yeah, because they saw me, like, I was really trying to throw bottles around, I really got into it, and again, they were like, learn how to bartend first, then you can throw bottles, and you do it on your own time, so I think, and then one of them just went, yeah, take that home, never gave it back.
You still got it?
Of 2000, yeah, TGI, it's probably my mom's attic or something, but year 2000 UK Championships for TGI Fridays.
Rob Stevens will have it.
Yeah, definitely.
Rob, where is that? I need it.
And the people that jumped off there were Neil Garner, Toby Hilton, and Toddy, James Todd.
Oh yeah.
The 3 from that. I just watched them and just thought, right, I'm going to get all of this down, watching connecting moves and stuff like that. Because I could do, you know, a move, but a move to a move to a move.
Sure.
I got from that video, and I just wore it out, and like just dents on my mom's mantelpiece and in the Stephen, you know, that type of
Same.
And it was but that was my introduction to Flair, and I was just like, you know, watching Garner do the bump or whatever, and Toddy catching the tin behind his back. I was like, well, I can do that with football. Right, that one's in.
That one's in. Which one's that?
Just to throw another tin catcher behind your net.
Oh yeah.
And I could do that with football, and I thought, I can do that with tin, and I could. I was like, that's in, tick.
What was the first move that you learned? Do you remember?
Just a single spin. I don't know. We're good with plastic bottles, but just no spins, just like that. Well, I can't even do it now. But yeah, just catch that in there, and then it was like you know, you throw it out and catch, and you move again. Just baby steps, you know.
Yeah.
And then behind the back took me a while to master.
It's quite interesting when you see like because other people have asked what their first move is, and you say about linking moves and how to connect things together. We don't see that a lot these days in Flair. It's just like big move.
Yeah.
But we'll come to that later on.
Yeah.
So when you went from TGI Fridays and you had a bit of Flair, where did you go after that? Where have you worked? Some famous bars?
How long we got is no, the ones that really stick out for me is like from Fridays was you know, I wanted to explore and wanted to travel, and I was at college just studying tourism. I just thought, well, people go to college, they need something next to their resume. I didn't know what I was aiming towards, but I just needed some sort of what was it called?
Qualification?
BTEC diploma or whatever it was back then. I just needed something next to my CV so it didn't make me look like a dosser, you know. And then a person on that course said, "Oh, Steve, I get this like magazine. There's a place called Zakynthos or Zante, and they're looking for bottle jugglers. We know you do that." And I was just like, gave this guy a call, and he just went, "Yeah, come, you got the job." And I was like, "That was a bit too easy. That was a bit too easy." So I'll try and cut this. They got out there, turned up at this bar, and just the whole bar is just covered in draft pumps and stuff like that. And I said, "How many people work here?" He's like, "Just you." What? So within a week and a half, 2 weeks, I was like, this ain't working. I'm 19 for a day.
Which bar was this?
This was in, I don't want to name the bar, but this was in the next town. It's irrelevant, but it's in the next town to Laguna where the party place was. So I jumped on my moped one night and went home to Laguna, and it was just stars. Like, what is going on here? Just hundreds of people pouring out of bars and stuff like that. And I went to a place called Rescue, and just watched fire over fire, ice off the roof, and just some bartender at the bar with 3 girls just like this. I'm like, where am I? The type thing. And then I sat down at the bar, and then this guy called Dimitri, really good friend of mine still, said, "Can I help you?" I said, "I'll just have a drink, a beer or something." And I was like, I can do that. And he's like, "All right, nice one, mate."
It's a typical young kid. "Yeah, I can do that."
And I was like, "No, I'm looking for a job. And he goes, "Okay." And then the 2 guys in charge, a guy called Rob McGraw and an Australian guy called Tyson Marshall, who you've met over the years, came over and said, "Look, we're looking, show us what you can do." And I just did a little bit with the bottom of the tin. Okay, that's fine, but we want to see the rest of it, so come back for a trial. And came back the next night. And by 11, they said, "Right, job's yours." I was like, "Right, now I need somewhere to live." All this time, but again, just going back away from back, I was 19. I'd just left home. I'm in a different country, and if shit's going wrong, I was just like, normally it'd be like, "Mom, Dad, help me out." It was like,
Sure.
"No, you got to sort your own shit out here."
How was it working in the summer season in that bar? Because you got the job and you worked there a few years in a row, no?
No, I just did the one. I went back for the second, and it's just, my dad warned me. He goes, "You'll never match your first." And within 2 months, I was like, "No, it's not the same." And
So how was the first year?
Unbelievable. It was just, I mean, to put it this way, the first night. So this guy Tyson Marshall, and also Adam McDonald worked there as well.
Adam worked there.
Who's
Adam.
friends with Shout out to Adam, massive part of my training as well, but Tyson especially, because I used to throw bottles and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And he just, within the first couple of weeks, he goes, "No, that's not what we do here. We entertain.
Yeah.
Like, we have fun with our customers. We have fun with our guests. We make fun out of ourselves more than anything."
Yeah.
And I just learned as much as I could from this guy. He would do a routine, and I know I've been doing it for years, but he'd do a routine. You could tell people were watching him. He's flaring, and you just go, "How good am I?" Stuff like that, and then everyone would laugh. Like, "Oh, he's not a big head. He can laugh at himself." And he was like, "No, we're about entertainment." We danced on the bar to S Club 7. Like we had rehearsed. Everything was rehearsed, and it was just. And he said to me, so on my first night, we closed at 4 a.m. It got to about 2:30, 3. And it's early season, so it's quieting down. And I said, "Oh, do you want me to start bottling up?" Or that's what we did at Fridays. You know, you filled up the fridges and you get set for the next day. And he went, "Mate," grabbed 2 bottles of Heineken. And he went, "Chink." He goes, "That's bottling up." Like this. And then he goes, "Where have you worked before?" And I said, "Just TGI Fridays, really." He goes, "Oh, it's unfortunate." He goes, "This is the best bar you're ever going to work in." And my head just went, "Whatever, mate," type thing went in my head. But 17 years later, I'm like, yeah, he's right. There was no setup, no breakdown. The only rule was make money for the bar. You're making money for the bar, you do what you want. Drink what you want.
I know why you really liked it there. The stories that unfolded, which are not suitable for YouTube. But if you do want to know stories, whack something down in the comments and maybe you can ask straight.
Well, there's a book. There's a book, isn't there?
Oh, yes.
Speaking of Adam McDonald.
Get ready for a plug.
Yeah.
What's the book?
It is The Long Pour, which is, it's about 30 different bars. You got a story in there, haven't you?
I think I've got 2 stories in there.
I've got 2 stories in there. And some anonymous ones as well.
We'll put a link down below.
It's a good read.
Put a link down below for that. Is basically stories from bartenders from around the world. All different crazy stories that bartenders have basically lived. So go and check that out. Thank you very much, Adam, for writing it. But So yeah, Zante. I never did a summer season. I worked a couple of weekends, so I never had the full experience of how it is. But
it's just
would you recommend it to younger kids?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been back to Zante a couple of times since '02. Now, there's a couple of things with that, and I think people of that generation will agree with me. In '02, it was still a well-kept secret. I'd never heard of it. A lot of people hadn't heard of the island. They went to, Falaraki and Crete and stuff like that. And the average age out there was we had families in until 8:30. We were entertaining the kids, getting them throwing ice at us and stuff like that. And then there was couples, and then it was the singles, and then it was party time, and it was just crazy.
And it was debauchery.
Well, which was the sense of the word. But I went back. We were just talking before we started the cameras, but for my stag do, and it was just the average age has completely dropped. The average spend per head. The people that had money in their pocket. There was a lot of things like the hotels now are all inclusive until midnight, so everyone drinks for free at the hotel and then comes out at midnight. So it kills the vibe of the bars, which is a shame. And just to go back, you asked me about the experiences. There was about 60 of us that all worked in different bars doing different jobs, and we were a community. We just all got on so well. We all looked out for each other and stuff like that. I've heard and I've seen a little bit. It's not really that way anymore, where it's just like every man for himself. It's a bit like Ibiza, where I did a bit of time there. Yeah. Someone will cut your hand off for your job. You're not very well. I'll have your job.
I'll take it.
But absolutely amazing memories. And if it wasn't for that 6 months, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here. It was definitely the platform to take me on the journey I've been on.
So would you say that bartending has changed your life quite a lot?
Oh, completely. Completely. I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for bartending, It was the only thing...
Tourism.
Well, that's why I did it. I was looking to be like a holiday rep or something like that. Thank God that didn't come to fruition. But yeah, it was... the funny thing is that you always look down on the reps. Like a bartender...
You think it's special.
And I was like, but there's me going, I wanted to do that at one point. But nothing against it. It's just like 18 hours a day for no money. No thanks.
Bartending is definitely a very ego-filled job. You just said, the bartenders will look down at the reps like, Did you have a big ego back then?
No, but the older guys. So I was 19, and everyone there was late 20s, early 30s. So they kept me grounded. If I stepped out of line, they put me in line pretty sharpish. Yeah. And I'm very thankful for that. I did have my moments. Who doesn't? But no. I mean, Rob McGraw, who I haven't seen him in years, but he was the scariest looking guy, like skinhead, like muscles, But he was the funniest guy you've ever met, but you'd never cross him. Yeah. If he went, "Oi, stretch." Sorry, boss. That type of thing. I was very lucky with who I was working around to keep me level. I mean, don't get me wrong, I strayed, but
of course,
but no, to have people like that train you, like Adam. If Adam was sat here right now, I never wiped my bar top, and he was just like, "I'm going to swing for him in a minute. Like, wipe your." Sorry. Look, what have I got to wipe my bar top for?
I'm king.
And it was just like, well, if people want to come and sit down, no wonder your side's empty and everyone else is busy because it's fucking minging. I'm like, good point.
You soon learn, huh?
Exactly.
That's it. You cut your teeth somewhere, you bring those ideas and standards to somewhere else. But we meant you're sticking with egos. Obviously, you're still involved in the bar world today.
As much as I can, yeah.
Or a bar, doesn't matter. Flair, cocktails, whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like you mentioned community as well. Do you think that London has a good community at the moment? Do you think it's changed over the years?
I can only use Roadhouse as an example, or like a bar show like an Imbibe or something like that. It's I always found like, even going back 10 years, if you walked into Roadhouse and you've seen someone you hadn't seen for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and they're just like, "What are you doing now? What are you doing?"
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's just like, "I'm fine, how are you?" It was always that, like, I need to make sure I'm doing better than this guy. I'm like, whoa, like that was always my view on it. It was just like, how are you? Like, how's your kids or something like that? But it was like, what are you doing? Who are you work for? And then a lot of, I'm making so much money. I'm so busy. I'm like, I didn't ask that, but well done. So it was, but then you had bubbles of people that you knew were mates, and then bubbles of people that you just, I know that person, or vice versa. Yeah. Nowadays, I mean, I can't really speak much nowadays because, I'm not around that as much as I used to be. Due to my age, and I've got a wife and little one, and it doesn't really allow for it that much. But has it changed? We're getting older, and they're all younger. So listen. No, I'll do that line in a bit. I don't think it really equates to that question. But while we're on egos, we can talk about Flair and stuff, but there was something I was thinking about the other day, and it just came to me, where you could put into this answer is, right, have you ever heard a bartender say this? You go into a bar with them, I used to work here, but it got so much better after I left. Said no one ever, right?
yeah,
right?
Of course.
It's always, it's gone downhill since I left.
Yeah.
So that question is like saying, well, back in the day we had this, this, and this, and now it's like this, this, and this. So with that one, I can't really answer because I'm not around it enough. I don't go, let's get drunk till 4 o'clock in the morning anymore, where you get to know people a lot better. So I can't really answer that one. That can equate into bars and Flair though.
So Roadhouse, you worked at Roadhouse until when? What year?
I did, that continuing on, if you want, from Zante, I'm Flairing, and it was like, you ever done a comp? I was like, no, and then talking about videos and stuff, the only thing online at the time, watching Flair, was, what I found, was a 20-second clip of Delpesh and a 20-second clip of Ken Hall. That was, and it took like 14 minutes to download. And that was it. So I'd never seen a routine. I'd just seen clips of Ghana and stuff in that video. And they were like, we do this thing called Zante Reunion at a place called Roadhouse. And I was like, I've heard of Roadhouse, yeah. Is that where the competition is? Because I just thought Fridays did competition. And this was late 02. So they said, you should enter this comp at Roadhouse. And I thought, well, why not? You know, I'm going to be there anyway. So I didn't think I was ready to enter a comp. I didn't want to embarrass myself, but I thought if the support's there, might as well take advantage of it. And little things like, I didn't know that you could, if you did 2 bottles in a tin, I think I made a Key West cooler or something like that. If 2 bottles in a tin, I didn't know you could use both Smirnoffs. So I'm trying to do 2 bottles in a tin with a Smirnoff and an Archer's.
yeah.
You know, I didn't know this stuff.
Sorry to interrupt. I remember when you came and did your first comp, there was a bit of buzz around. It's like this new guy, Stretch. And you're like this tall, lanky, skinny kid, like a little bit taller than me. And we're thinking, fuck's this prick? You know,
I got that vibe. But no, I was just a deer in the headlights. I went to Friday's Covent Garden the night before with the girl I was seeing at the time, and she was like, "Are you going to talk to me or something?" I was just like, just watching. And just like, a 3 deep Fridays in Covent Garden. Oh, I heard about this place, you know. Ooh, it's all good. And then we arrive on the day, and I remember like yesterday, I was one of the first people in. Doors open, hi. And then Vicky served me a Coke, and she just bang, like, oh, that was cool. And then then it came to the performance, my time on stage, and I always like, look, I'm gonna have fun out there, regardless of my skill set. I treated it as Zante. It was like, this is a stage. I'm gonna entertain people and have fun, big smiles. And then just I went off stage. That people cheered for me, whether they knew me or they liked what they were seeing. But then they announced the finalists, which was then 5 finalists and 6 in the Flare Off.
Yeah,
and they were like, "You're
was
back."
it Flare Off or Bottle Off?
No, it was a Flare Off.
Flare Off.
And they were like, "You're back on. You're in the Flare Off." And I was like, well, "What's that?" And he's like, "Right,
what's the Flare Off?"
So there was 1 space left in the final. 6 of you had 30 seconds each. It went down to 4, went down to 2, and then they picked a winner and they went into the final.
Like a battle comp, basically.
Yeah, basically. And I thought, right, well, let's go and have some fun with this. And it was lucky for me because I only had like 2 or 3 30-second bits, so it was like perfect for me. And obviously, with having 150 odd friends in the audience, they cheered for me. Look, I got to the final of the Flare Off, and I was very appreciative of that. Sam Thompson beat me, and hands down was like levels above me, but everyone was cheering for me. And then so Sam made the final, but then I heard stories of people that were like trying to fight the judges and
what?
Yeah, like Dean, who's the old MC? Dean
Martin.
Dean Martin's MC. People were like,
Capital Radio.
This is bullshit. Like, I'm not having to. Like, no, this is right. Like, he should be. Like, it was just crazy. And apparently Tony Adams has got. I've never seen it. Tony Adams said I've got that on camera somewhere, so you might want to have a.
Making waves since your first competition, huh?
But yeah, I met you that day, and I was just like, I just heard of this guy called Tom Dyer, and he could do 3 bottle tin. I remember you just came over and I'm Tom. I went 3 bottle tin. I was like. What did you say that for? I was like, 3 bottle tin.
I probably went, well, yes, actually.
Yeah, and
the
it
ego
was,
came out.
And then to answer your question about Roadhouse, literally on the same night, Troy Huston was the organiser, Andy Collinson was AGM, and Troy went, "Where do you live?" And I went, "Oh, I've just moved back to Coventry." He goes, "You ever thought about moving to London?" I was like, "Yeah, in like 3 years' time, I'm 19. He goes, "Well, there's an opening here if you're interested." I was like,
wow.
Looking at the bartenders there, they're all mid to late 20s. one for a better word, just like, what do you want? But slick, you know. That was it. That was Roadhouse, but it was slick as fuck, fast as fuck, but not exactly. How are you? So I'm like,
it was the happiest group back then,
so I'm like, why would I fit in here? But I'm not going to turn down the opportunity. And then, they put me through the paces. I failed the cocktail test by 1%, and Aaron sent me home. He went, no, you're not on the bar, mate.
Wow.
But
because back then you had to do a cocktail test, pour tests,
and front bar on a Saturday night in the busy station. Yeah.
And if you survived without crying, then you're in.
Even if you survived, it could still be a no. But I think no one's ever told. I think a lot of things were going for me. I think the Roadhouse were going to road. Look, we can't just have all moody bartenders. We need someone with a bit of energy. And I think, this guy might fit the bill type thing. But like I say, I failed the cocktail test by 1%. They got sent home on the Friday night. So you come back on the Saturday, you need 100%, and then we'll put you on the bar. I made sure I got 100%. They put me on the bar, and it was just that scene at a cocktail, you know, when it's just like, martini, a dingling, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, went, not ready for this.
Why didn't you just tell me it was a rum and coke? Could I have what I ordered?
An angel tip.
A white wine.
Pink swirl.
A friar tuck.
A sing-a-ling.
A white wine.
Pink swirl. Angel tip.
Dirty mother. Can I have what I ordered? All right.
And then I had a guy called, I don't know if you remember, a guy called Toby Harraway who was shadowing me, and he was great, you know. He was just like, okay, take your time, try to do this, do this, do this. And I was like, why are they helping me? They all seem like so mean. And I got through it, and then they took me away for my lunch. Aaron Lum, bar manager at the time, former GM of the Roadhouse later on, and he said, full of bubble, how you getting on? You know, I was like, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I thought it was a good bartender. He went, you are a good bartender, but just take your time, do this instead of that, do that instead of that, you'll be fine. Got through to 3 a.m. and then it was just like, your job's yours if you want it. And then they were divvying up all the tips. And I was like, oh, no, try this, don't get tips. I was like, good one. And they're like, no.
Exactly.
Right, and then, so 3 years at Roadhouse.
Quick question then. So is Roadhouse better since you've left?
But again, it's completely, that brings into that comment, you know. I've been going there ever since. I love going in there. I think it's great. I think it's different now. I mean, I got 9 months of Roadhouse. So 2003 is when the new licensing laws came in.
Yeah.
About, you know, how you can't be drunk in a bar. Up until then, you couldn't be drunk to enter a bar.
Sure.
So I had 9 months of, if someone's like 2 tequila falling asleep, you're like, no problem, mate. Thank you very much. You know, that was it. And then it just went, you've had 2 beers. Can you drink this bottle of water for me, please, mate?
Yeah, I remember that.
You what, pal? You know, you need to drink that before you have another beer. This is Roadhouse. And then, you know, they had to fight through that, and they got through it. But, of course, it's different. Whether it's better or for worse, it's still Roadhouse to me, and I still love going there. That's the best answer I can give to that.
Yeah, true, man. I've seen it since 2000 until now. And we've had discussions of how it is now and the bartenders back then compared to now. You know, you've definitely got a much more flair-orientated bar team now, most of which are teetotal, don't drink, you know, get to bed early and that, whereas 20 years ago, it was the complete opposite.
And like people entering a comp completely hungover. You're just like, no, I was the only one that, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, Steve, why aren't you like, Francis, for instance, love the guy, but he's just like, oh, I'm going to go Flair now. You know, and make a bowl of cornflakes. You know? But yeah, of course it changes. I think Adriano had a massive thing to do with that about Flair, like a chance of someone winning the Roadhouse as a Roadhouse bartender. He changed that view of it all because
at the beginning they were saying we can do this competition, but a Roadhouse bartender can never win.
Right.
Because at the beginning it was Roadhouse versus TGI, then
Cheers jumped in.
Then it grew and grew, and they said, yeah, but a Roadhouse bartender can never win. And then, like you said, slowly that started to flip. When Jay was there as well, and he won the UK finals, and then Adriano, they're like, we could have a bartender to win the World Championships. I don't think it has ever happened yet.
Yeah, it came close.
Adriano was the closest.
Adriano came second. Michael came third last year, right?
Michael came third. Michael Morini.
Where did Siki come? Siki made the final, right?
Siki was 4th or 5th, I think.
So he got 2 Roadhouse bartenders in the world final.
Getting there. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, that's pretty special. But it was, we all entered, but none of us really had a chance of winning. So myself, Francis, Ben Martin, Vicky, a few others jumped on. But it's like someone that's going to win it. Yeah, until Adriano or Jay came on the scene, it was
Adriano could have possibly won it, but do you remember some of your first moves that you did? I think you still do the same moves anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to show us?
No, a lovely bottle, but I'm just not very good with plastic.
All right, well, we've got some...
No, because if you give me glass, I'll smash it.
Well, there you go, there's a plastic one right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I mentioned about Vicky doing the thing behind her head, so when I started at Roadhouse, I was catching it here, so I'd throw it, and I'd catch it, I don't want to do it, but I'd catch it here,
Yeah.
and she went, whoa, you work in this bar, you're not doing that, pal. And she literally gave me a glass, and she went, fuck the tin, you're doing it like that, and you're catching it here. I was
Go on
like,
then.
What? And she was like, yeah, so it was literally, I'm going to do it with the tin.
No, do it with the glass.
So it was until I got it, and it's just like, bang. You know,
Boom.
like there, and she goes, you're not doing that move until you do it on the bar until you do it properly. I was, but in a nice. Vicky was lovely, she's an absolute sweetheart, and I was so that. And once I got that down, that took it to next level because now all of a sudden the bottle's going clean there. Into the next move instead of going, you know how people do it today, catch it there and then go. Like, it's just slick into the next one.
Exactly.
You know, and then the other one that Tyson Tyson Marshall taught me was what do you call that, tennis grip?
Yeah.
So it's into there because I used to go into there, right? And he goes, no, throw a little juggle in. So it's like boom, 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 and then catch.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
yes.
We can do so much more from that because there, and I don't know if I hit this, but it's all of a sudden you can throw in a bump. And things like that, and it was just like those little moves there can do so much more. Now I've learned those.
What was the little connection that you taught me once, which is you've got a little linking move, which I
taught you that?
Yeah, Stretch taught me a move once.
So, and again, still one of my favourite moves that I do. And you know how the boys like Tony and Colin, all the judges of the last 5 years, said about the silhouette test?
Yes.
I think this move would help me pass the silhouette test.
So the silhouette test, for those that don't know, is that if you had a bartender flaring just in a silhouette, would you be able to tell who that person is? And that comes down to your style. So what is your silhouette test move?
So this move is basically up, and then
that's it. That's the one.
Round,
that one.
and then straight away back out. So I'll do it
one more
time. So bang, bang, bang. 1, 2, 3, and then bang straight in.
Boom.
Like that. So it was that. Well, and Atty in Vegas got me to teach her that as well.
There you go.
So if I can hold claim to anything, I'd like to say that, because if I think someone said, "God, can I show you this move?" and I wasn't there, but you told me about it, and someone did that, and you just went Stretch. So you know, I haven't got a predator or anything like that, but
predator.
But that is the best name for a Flair move ever.
It is a good name for a Flair move.
Tom X move. What
I think
a
Andy
name.
named that one, didn't he?
That's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely great name for a move.
But all right, Las Vegas. You said Atty in Las Vegas. Atty.
Oh, I don't know. I taught Atty one move. I didn't teach her.
Taught her a move, your move.
Yes.
In Las Vegas. What happened in Las Vegas?
So we've been going to Vegas for different comps, King of the Ring. I'd love to talk about that in a bit, and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'd love to work out here. I mean, the way I see it is, if you take Flair Bartending seriously, it's like, if you work at Vegas, you're like, oh yeah, he's done it. That's the way I viewed it. And then, what was it, 2009, there was chat of a bar being opened, and the way that it works out there is if you're a new bar team, you can get a job, like say you've got a job at Carnival Court, you'd be bottom of the run, no matter whether you're the best bartender, the best Flair bartender in the world, you get the least amount of shifts. For a brand new bar, it's a bit different.
I heard a story of Shadow Bar in Caesar's Palace. Francesco Leone, when he got a job there was another guy who went, I think the day before or the same day or whatever, to both get the job. Francesco, who had X amount of years of experience and good flair skills, and this other guy who was a plumber. But because the other guy's social security number was above Francesco's, he got seniority, which meant he got all the good shifts and Francesco didn't.
Yeah, pretty much how, because it's a union, it's part of a union. Right. So that's. But when it's a brand new bar, it's a level playing field. You're picked on ability and things like that, and what the owner thinks. Right, I want you guys on my busiest shifts and X, Y, Z. So I got invited out for an audition with, I think, about 90 guys auditioned for 20 spots. And you had to do an interview, you had to do a 5-minute performance, and then you had to do a little bit behind the bar as well. And I got offered the job. I think I was put in like 11th or 12th, but given my flair ability was like down at like 19 or 20, but they liked my show side of things, and also bartending background. And we also serve food as well, so it was like the Fridays thing, I could put money in the till. Yeah. So my shifts were decent. Bums
on seats, money in the till.
Bums on seats, money. No, I said that in my interview. I I said, if you're 3 deep, I'll serve as many people as I can. I goes, if there's only 2 people there, I'll keep them there as long as I can.
Sure.
And he liked that. So, but yeah, I was there for just under 2 years.
Who did you work with?
All of them. Where do you start? Dario, I'm gonna name drop.
Drop them off.
Dario, don't know. Danilo, Nicholas for a shift. He didn't stay long, but
Nicholas St. John.
Yeah. Rodrigo, Cal, Colin Griffiths, Ginge, who my brother, love working with him. Lee Johnson.
Gianluigi Bosco.
Bosco for a bit, but you didn't work with all of them all the time. Like some shifts you did on your own, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, I got to work with all of them at least a couple of times. And funny enough, never expected this to happen, but Dario was the person I probably came closest to. We're still mates to this day. We got on really, really well, and didn't work at the same bar. But Vahe Manukian, he's like a
top guy,
like a brother to me now. We're still really close. But those two. But then it just got a bit much to put a cap on Vegas. It was, you know, my visa was for 3 years. I came home after 2. It was just, we made good money, but there's 1,000,001 ways to spend it. My now wife was my fiance at the time. She obviously didn't have a visa, so she was back and forth, coming out for 2.5 months, going home for a month, and to the point where immigration were like, well, what's going on here, type thing. And it was just like, look, so we just leave it, and then back to London. But so glad I did it. Funny enough, any interview I've ever been in now, they're just like, so tell me about Vegas. You know, it's not something on everyone's CV. You know, you've lived in Las Vegas for 2 years, which again, no regrets. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, and I've been back half a dozen times since I've lived there, and lived like a tourist. You know. 4 days hard.
What's the bar scene like in that? Because I've been there and it's very much woo, you know. But you know, we're used to London top-end mixology cocktail bars, which they didn't have there so much. I saw.
Still don't.
But what's it like as a bar scene? Everything around.
Okay, well, number one, the community as good as, if not better than Zante. We're all tight. We're all friends. We're all close.
Yeah.
The amount of times like we'd go, right, everyone off on Tuesday afternoon. We'll go to a pool and have a great time. That happened all the time. Everyone looked out for each other. You know, if I didn't have a car out there, someone would lend me their car for a week.
Wow.
You know, stuff like, oh, Steve, I've got you. You know, stuff like that. Everyone was just so warm and inviting, and just and loved it. But then also we learned off each other, because like you said about mixology, I had these guys come to my bar, and it was a party bar. Like if you had someone ordered a margarita, it was tequila, gun with the word letter M. that was a margarita, right? But then I had these guys come in, and they were just like, oh, we were in London, you know, this old fashioned, it was delicious. And I went, some Jim Beam there, there's an orange there. I'm eating in a plastic cup. But, you know, I've got sugar cube. Oh, we have got Angostura, you know, and there's an old fashioned. And then so the next shift, 3 o'clock, Steve, have you been making people old fashioned? Yeah, well, they're back now. You know, but the American old fashioned, orange. You know, like half a bottle of bourbon, and it's just like, so. You know, all these different things. It was great fun, and everyone was tight. Everyone, like Carnival Court, you know, as much as I wanted to be there, you know, literally the way, forms felt, because they were interested in hiring me, but it was literally like being like, say you play for Man City and Man United want to sign you, they've got to sign you. It's not just I'm leaving you and going to you. You're contracted to someone.
Sure. And
it was just like, look, this isn't going to work, and it was like, yeah, home time.
The difficult part, the most difficult bar to get into to get a job.
Well, yeah, even if I got that job, you know, I'm probably looking at 1 shift a week, you know, if that, and then you're just waiting for people to call sick. Oh, that's another, check this out to all the bartenders watching. So being part of a union, you can do, it's a long time ago, 4 times a month you can do a thing called calling out. As long as you did it 4 hours before your shift started, you just go, I'm not coming to work today. And then the boss would have to go, okay, thank you for letting me know. And it's the boss's job to find a replacement. How cool is that?
Wow.
Yeah, but there was literally 5 guys going, I'll do it. So it was never a problem.
Wow,
but
that's why they have so many backup staff, I guess.
Yeah. So, and it was literally, I did it once, because even then I felt bad. You know, because
I couldn't do it. I'm not coming to, no, I'm coming.
Yeah, I did it. I wasn't feeling too well. I feel really bad. And it's just like, and the manager, no problem, Steve, thanks for letting me know. Don't you hate me now? No, it's fine. It just didn't feel right, you know.
What about the tipping culture? Because obviously we're in the UK.
Yeah.
People go, great job, thanks very much, so good. Yeah, cheers, thanks very much. Not a single penny.
Yeah.
Over there, you're working for tips, no?
Yeah, but we had a good wage as well. We were classed. So you've seen in I think it's in the film Ocean's 11, where the waitress is getting fired because she's put on too much weight.
Yeah.
And they're saying you can't do that. Yeah, you can, because she's a model that serves. So
Wow.
being a certain size was part of her job.
Wow.
I don't know if that's in real world. But as a bartender, we were classed as performers that served, because I had an O1 visa, you know. So I was classed as a performer. So my hourly wage was decent. When it came to tips, it wasn't Carnival Court money. I think I got Carnival Court money once or twice.
What's Carnival Court money?
Grand a shift.
What circus? What was the name of your bar?
Rock and Reels. R&R. I call it R&R.
Rock and Rita's.
Yeah.
It wasn't an it was an and. So Rock and Rita's, how much was Rock and
200
Rita's?
average, and that was still good.
That's still good.
You know,
You do 5 shifts a week,
yeah.
200. That's great.
I did Carnival money 2 or 3 times, but that's because half the people are serving were Carnival bartenders.
So they just gave. But how did that work with bartenders? Because you must have had bartenders and bartenders coming together. Do you tip each other or?
Right, this is a funny story actually. So within about 3 weeks of living there, it was like Colin had to have a word with me. He was like, "Steve, you get a bit of a reputation for being a tight ass." So what am I doing?
Colin Griffiths.
Colin
the
Griffiths.
UK,
Colin Griffiths is a UK Flair bartender, but lived out there 2-3 years before we got there.
Right.
I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, so I just naturally thought, so in London, you know, if I went to my mate's bar, he'd sort me out 30 quid's worth of drinks. He came to my bar, I'd sort him out 30 quid's worth of drinks. And as that person that taught me that, it's floating money. Why tip me 20 quid when I was just going to come to your bar and tip you 20 quid?
Makes
Right?
perfect sense.
So that's what I thought. So, you know, this bartender sort me out, you come to my bar, sort you out. Because you had a tab that you could comp. You know, you were allowed to. It weren't like, you know, take that, don't tell anyone.
Sure.
You could comp. So after about 3 weeks, like, Steve, you've got to stop sniffing people. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, you're not tipping. I was like, yeah, but I don't do it for them. And when they try and tip me, I go, no, I don't want it. But they still leave it. I'm like, right, okay. So it's literally, if you get 50 quid's worth of free drinks, $50 worth of free drinks, you got to tip 50. Well, what's the point of this? It's just, you're just going to give me that back when you come to my bar. So, but it's
They never go to your bar.
There's one person since I've been back. So Jess and I went for a holiday. So my wife went for a holiday in LA and Vegas, and we went to, and Danilo was working there, and we were like gin and tonic, vodka cranberry. He's like Grey Goose, Tank 10. I'm like, oh, this is going to cost me a fortune. And he's like, we've had a fair few out of drinks, and I'm just like, give him it. And Jess is like, got a $100 bill, and Jess is like, it's for him. I went, there you go, mate, thank you so much. And he just went, no, European style. I'm coming to London soon. I was like, perfect. So nothing against it, it's the way it is. So
Sure.
to answer your question again, just to segue into tipping culture, it's the same for the guests, okay? So Americans, like you open 4 beers, you're looking at a dollar a drink, and that's not going to be frowned upon. If you're bang, 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 and then bang, oh, that's pretty cool, mate. Here's 10 for you, sweet, well done.
Wow.
Didn't happen all the time. You did a little Flair show and you started a tab, the bill comes to like $80, there's $150, you're awesome tonight, you know?
Sure.
That's in a great world. The in-serve in other cultures, so for instance, our hotel, Circus, you know, it's not exactly the Wynn or the MGM Grand. We would get, you know, a lot of, let's say, Trump fans are we going politics? In Circus. But put it this way, in December, a Jack and Coke is more expensive than a room at Circus. So, yeah, what does that tell you? So even Americans would just be like, you know, a bottle of beer, they'd still take, like, it'd be $5.25 for a beer, $4.75 in change, and they even take the 75 cents. You're like, really? Yeah. You know, but it is what it is. But then with when you had English people over, you know, I see like 6-7 lads just arrive fresh off the plane, and you know, they're doing the order one by one and stuff like that. And I can handle it. I'm English. I'm used to that. And all right, cool. But it comes to like $70. You're looking at least a $10 tip, and he just walks away. And you politely just grab him and go, look, I'm English. I get this. It happens. But you do that to an American bartender, you're going to be invisible for the rest of your time in that bar. It's like, well, we don't tip at home. You're not at home.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
But I do find whenever I've gone there, I do find that, I mean, obviously the bartenders a lot of the time work for tips. In Vegas, I know most hotels, they get paid for it really well.
Yeah, you get about $2 an hour.
But I've watched, and you're like, yeah, if somebody doesn't tip, automatically they just get completely ghosted. Mm-hmm. And I just find like, I get it, you're working for tips, but at the same time, you're serving, your job is being a bar, you're supposed to tend the bar. Not everybody has the ability to tip you. And if they don't, then I don't think they should be treated any differently.
No. And I'll give an example of that is, so you've got the generation of, flair bartenders or entertainment bartenders, theatre bartenders, whatever you want to call it, that, how you doing? How can I'm going to enhance your evening, where you believe a tip should follow, and 9 times out of 10 it does.
Sure.
You've then got your career bartenders that are, they've been working that casino bar for 30 years at the MGM Grand, and they're used to $200 per shift, and
Sure.
it's like, beer.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Their days are gone. Going, how are you? Where are you in from? They're gone.
It's such a shame, because like you do go to these old casinos and you can see the people that have worked there. Like, we made a joke about the cocktail waitresses that you take a tray away and they're like this almost.
True.
True. It's true. No?
Yeah.
They're like 100 years old and they've been there for 100 years.
Cocktails, coffee, water.
Cocktails, cigars. It's like in your brain when you're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, but again, that's the union thing. So they've had that job for years. They're not giving it up for anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because you see Vegas, and I've seen how it's progressed over the years. It's a great place to go and visit. I could never live there. I had the opportunity to a few times.
Yeah.
Escaped.
Madness.
But it's definitely something where you go, I worked in Vegas for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have said I could have done it.
Yeah.
But that time has definitely passed, Would have loved to work. I remember one time at Carnival Court, King of the Ring. We'll get onto that.
Yeah.
Finished my round on King of the Ring, and one of the bosses comes over and is like, "Hey, how would you like to work here?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." Like this.
Let you behind the bar as well, don't they?
Huh?
They let you behind the bar.
They let me behind the
Yeah,
bar.
I was so jealous of that.
That was Mindaugas, actually. Mindaugas comes and I turn up, and I think he was trying to sort of rub somebody else the wrong way.
Yes.
He
Yes,
basically says, "Do you want to come behind the bar and do some flair?" And I was shitting myself. And they put the shirt on me and everything. And I was like a 12-year-old behind this bar.
Yeah.
Did a little flair show, almost annihilated a couple of guests by a road Bacardi bowl. But yeah, it's definitely a great experience. Would you recommend for people to get a job there if they?
Yeah. Definitely. There's nothing wrong with it. I mentioned it. So the boss of this bar had a couple of options on where to open this bar, and he had the opportunity of the Hard Rock, which is smack bang in the middle of the strip, but then Circus Circus at the end, and a different kind of clientele. And also, there's a theme park at the back of the Circus Circus, so there's loads of kids. Oof. So it was, if it was somewhere else, I might have even still been there, because it sometimes I finish work going, "Oh my God, I can't believe I get paid for this." And sometimes I'm finishing work going, "What was that all about?"
Oh my God, I can't believe I work here.
Yeah. So, and I think the other 19 lads that started with me would say the same.
Sure.
It's, we were expecting one thing and we got something completely different.
It seems that I get that impression from Las Vegas sometimes. But anyway, so after Vegas, what did you came back to London and then?
Nightclubs, yeah.
Actually, a question for you.
Go on.
Didn't you do a TV show many years ago called The Club?
Don't know what you're talking about. Do not know what you're talking about.
Yes, he did.
Do we have to talk about that?
Yeah, why not, man?
Yes, I did. It was when...
Give us a quick overview of what the TV show was. This was before Vegas. This was before Roadhouse.
This was during Roadhouse. I had to call Roadhouse on a Saturday night going, I've just got on a TV show. I've got to go straight on it. I'm not coming to work tonight. Oh my God. People wanted to kill me.
Wow.
Collinson being one of them. He was like, "You taking a piss?" I'm like, "No, this is the situation I'm in."
This is Collinson, who's like, you can only not come to work if you're dead.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I'd only been at Roadhouse for like 6 months, if that. Yeah, this was early 03. And my mum called me and said, this is when Big Brother was on like his second or third season.
This is when reality
TV was starting to go, what is all these people on telly for, type thing. And then there was one, and it was, my mum called me and it was like 2 weeks in. And my mum said, "Have you seen this show? It's called The Club. It's about bartenders, but they live in a house and there's cameras and microphones everywhere. And they've got to run a bar type thing." And so I watched it when I got home from work at like 4 a.m. And they said every week they fired someone. So you work for these 3 celebrities. And so there's 9 contestants and you work for 3 sets of 3. And every week someone got put, each one of the teams got put for the sack and the public would vote on who to get fired. And so every Saturday morning they were like, "We're holding auditions." I thought, sod it, why not, let's go. I went down there because it's near where I lived, and I went down there, and there's like 90 people there, all with suitcases and stuff. And I was like, "What? What's going on there?" "Oh yeah, if you get the job, you move in straight away." I'm like, "Oh, that's all. I'd got my kit for work, I got my uniform for work." So I went in and it was for this celebrity called Sam Fox, and
Used to be a page 3 model.
yeah, and a pop star apparently.
And a pop star.
So yeah, I went round and she so what do you do then? Like that, and I went, I'm a bartender. I literally, not being out, I went, I'm a bartender. She's like, right. I said, well, that's what you want. It's a bar, right? You want bartender. People before me were like singing and dancing and
What?
They were all actors and stuff trying to get exposure. I'm a bartender. Like, what you do? So give me that bottle. Bang, bang, bang. She went, okay, that's cool. At the 90, she put it down to 3. Then we had to make her a cocktail. And then this dancer was like, okay, like this, and I'm just like, bang, bang, bang. There you go, Cosmo.
Hey, Cosmo. I bet you did it with the attitude as well. Fuck Cosmo.
Yeah,
I've got to go work.
No, I was a smiley person. I was just like, I've got to fucking work here. Can you make a decision? And then they're just like, yeah, you. I was like, right. And then all of a sudden, just these cameras, I'm like, I've got to call work. So like, I call Andy. Andy, I've just got on a TV show. I'm not coming to work. You're fucking joking. You're taking the piss, pal. Like this, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I was on the show. I finished the show. I got put up for the sack by Sam every week. The public kept me in.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it was good fun. It was an experience. Lucy was on the show. Still a really good friend of mine now.
Yeah.
The others I don't really see. But yeah, this was what 17 years ago.
I remember I went down to see you on we're going to see Stretch.
Yeah, act. Yeah, Andy came as well, and it was yeah. No, I got stopped in the street for about 3 weeks, and that was it. Yeah, I was at the. Oh no, the best one that came out of that was because I went to Ibiza straight after that to go and work, and I'm flaring on this bar. And some geezer just got a drink. He went, "You're just trying to be like Stretch," and I just went, "I am." And he was like, "Oh shit!" And then yeah, and then for like a year it would be like, "Were you the guy on the thing with the thing?" And then yeah, but hey, listen, it was an experience. Now watching things like Britain's Got Talent, all these different shows, you know how it's all put together,
100%.
and all this manipulative. The amount of times they'd ask you a question and they go, "What do you think of Tom?" "Yeah, Tom, nice guy. Yeah, good skills." No. Put the answer in the question, so it looks like I'm trying to talk about Tom instead of being asked about Tom.
Yeah.
And it was just so. I was 19, 20, 19. So I'm just like, I had to think quick, like, what are you trying to do and stuff like that. And the best thing you can do is get on with the production team because they help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an experience. But yeah, I had the Mickey taken out of me, still do. But it was good fun.
It was great, mate. I think people who know you don't know how diverse your career has been. If you look at it, like summer seasons, Las Vegas, Roadhouse, TV shows, you've done quite a lot.
Yeah, a fair bit.
You've done pretty good.
Yeah.
We're going to get onto your Flair career soon, haha. But have you served any? I got asked this the other day myself, and my answer's pretty fucking shit. Have you served any celebrities?
As a bartender, once or twice, but when I worked in the nightclubs, I was a host. So I was a manager and a host. So I looked after lots of celebrities.
Can you reel off some names?
What, proper names?
Tell us some stories.
I'll tell you some good stories. Just quickly, as a bartender, I did an event for an events company, and it was like for a big bank, and they hired Darren Brown to do 15 minutes, and it was incredible. The bar was closed, so we were allowed to watch it as well, and it was incredible what he did. Right, guys, Darren's finished, bar's open. First person I served, Darren Brown with his manager, and everyone's watching Darren getting served and making him this drink. Did a little bit of Flair. And he goes, "Oh, mate, no need to show off." And I went, "You can fucking talk." And he just went, "Very good, sir." Well done. I enjoyed that one. But then in the club world, I've literally everyone from Ant and Dec to
Pop stars.
Paloma Faith. She was great fun. Loads.
Who sticks out the most?
Big one for me. The only one I ever got starstruck was Matt LeBlanc, Joey from Friends. Because he smoked and I smoked at the time, but he can't go outside, so I'd take him in the fire exit. So I'm having a fag with Joey from Friends, and I'm just like, I grew up with you, and he was lovely, really nice guy. And to be honest with you, I'll tell you the Kate Moss story. That's a good one. But the celebrities that were the hardest, that were the most difficult to deal with, aren't famous anymore. So what does that tell you?
There was another celebrity you told me about. I don't know if you want to say this story. James Corden, was it?
I didn't serve him. I saw him in a club. And I still am a fan of what he does. But a colleague of mine knew him through different things, and he brought me over to meet him. And I was just like, they say don't meet your heroes. And I was like, oh, so me. Go and get your photo and fuck off. And I was like, wow. I think this is and I was just like, you know.
can kind of get it.
But he's probably, you know, listen, that was 10 seconds of his life. So he might have been having a bad day.
Exactly.
It upset me because I was such a fan.
But I think
that wasn't serving him. I was in the club, he was in the club.
I think people, you know, don't realise how many times they get bribed a day. And sometimes you be like, mate, just soft, you know?
Yeah.
But Kate Moss story.
I was working in a
Did
club.
you dance with Naomi Campbell once as well?
I did dance with... No, she danced with me. She danced with me. Just dancing with a friend, 2 hands in. I'm like, yeah, oh, that looks like Naomi Campbell. They go, yeah, it is. Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No idea.
So no, the Kate Moss story was... I worked in a club in Mayfair, and so I was bartending, and there was a famous person's birthday, like I think it was a designer or someone like that. It was her birthday, so there was a lot of stars in this small part of the club, which was private to them. Kate Moss was by far the most famous person there, and I noticed the dynamics of the room. So if Kate Moss sat down and drank champagne, the whole room did. If Kate Moss got up and danced, the whole room did. It was really like strange, you know.
That's so awkward.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So then, as everyone's, you know, the drinks flowing, probably loads of other stuff as well. She's dancing away, and she's like, comes to the bar, and she's like, she wasn't rude. She's like, can I dance on the bar? I'm like, anyone else in the world? That's a flat no. You fill your boots. Yeah. So it's not as I'm going to come around for this, but it's not as congested as this. But so basically, this is my station. And she basically lies down on the bar like an American Beauty style pose. Music going off. Everyone in the room is just cheering like this. And I'm just like, and then over here is a load of glasses all stacked up like this.
Yeah.
All here. About 20 of them. So I'm like, they're going to go. They're going to go. So she's lying here. I'm just like this, just trying to be in the background. You know, this is all about her. But, like this, and she's like, looked at me, she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like this, and I'm just like, just making sure you don't bet. She's like, fuck off, it'll be fine, in a nice way. I went, alright, stood over here. She's now swung round, her legs are swung round.
Glass everywhere.
And I just went like this, and I just went, told you. Now, she's on her knees, facing me. She's like, come here. So I'm like, oh. Keep it cool, Trigger. So I just like, you know, I told you that was going to happen. She went, I'm so sorry. I said, she goes, what can I do to make it up to you? I thought, well, I'm never going to get this chance in my life ever again. I went, take me out for dinner if you want. Like this. And she went, how about I take you out for dinner? Everyone is watching this, right? Everyone. And I was like, she goes, how about I take you out for dinner? I'm like, yeah, fine, brilliant, yeah. Let's do that. And then she just like winked at me. She goes, look, my people call your people. It was all banter. And then she just grabbed me and just smacked one on me. Just a kiss, quick kiss. And then got down, and I'm just like that. What the hell just happened? Then the boss pulled me to one side, and when, you know, he goes, he pretended to bollock me, I was shitting myself. He goes, what the hell do you mean? He goes, first of all, that was awesome. And then he said, he goes, look, people are going to ask you about, when you leave work tonight, people ask you about that, just go straight home. And people did, people stopped me, didn't look like reporters, but they knew what they, and I was saying, I don't know what you're talking about, And then and I said to them, can I get the CCTV of that? And he was like, no. But yeah, that was, and then no one believes me, but it happened.
You believe him? No, I actually do. So the shit thing is that when I get asked a celebrity question, my stories are always shit. I mean, I can't even give you a good one. That's a fantastic story, like celebrity story.
Yeah, no, it's I told my flatmate the next morning. She's like, "Shut eating a cornflake. Shut up." No one's gonna believe me.
No one's gonna believe me. But these things happen. This is the thing. Bartenders, celebrities got to go somewhere to get a drink, and you know.
Just there's a story. So a really good friend of mine. Well, they're both really good friends of mine, but. This girl Whitney, she used to be the bar manager of a pub in Chelsea, and we're chatting away about, because she was ex-Mayfair with me, and she was we're talking celebrity stories, and then Prince Harry came up in conversation, and she's like, oh yeah, he's in all the time. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Is he nice? Yeah, he's lovely. There was once where she sat at the end of the bar, just like, the bar's closed, he's in with some friends, and he literally comes to the bar, he's like, Whitney, she's like, yes, Harry. He's like, can I have a gin and tonic? He's like, only if you make it yourself. How cool's that? You know?
Super cool,
like,
man.
Banter with Prince Harry, you know?
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so no, to just solidify what you're saying is, they've got to get a drink somewhere, and us mere mortals have to do it, you know?
Nice, man. I was going to say, can you make a drink?
Oh, let's make a drink and then have a
So
drink.
you mentioned an old-fashioned earlier.
Oh, I'm not drinking though.
Well, make it for me, and then
Okay.
I'll make you a drink.
All right, done.
So,
We haven't got any oranges,
I
have we?
like to get no.
So we can't make it old-fashioned.
Fucking old-fashioned dog.
Gin and tonic?
Well, you can do whatever you want, really. Gin and tonic. We've got tonic. We've got gin.
Yeah, tonic, gin and tonic.
I like to get guests. I like to get people to make a drink to actually show the people on the camera that you can still make a drink.
There's no spindle mixer.
For a gin and tonic.
No, just to get a cocktail in general.
What do you want to? You want gin is in the speed rail?
It's not, it's empty.
Oh, check that speed rail.
Just move these blue.
No fucking gin. How about a vodka?
I'll make a vodka tonic. Where's the body? Vanilla vodka tonic?
You could make a cocktail. I mean, come on.
But
Flair
you've got
Bartenders.
juice ready and stuff like that.
Flair Bartending. Juice down behind you. What kind of cocktail are you making? I bought some lemons, limes, mint, there's sodas, juices.
Tell you what, I'll make you ready.
Yeah! Show the people that, you know, you can actually make cocktails and throw the bottles around as well.
Good job, that plastic. See, that was bad. Right, so that's the thing is, well, if we can go into, you know, the changing generation. I was speaking to, do you remember Graham McDonald?
Yes.
So he was head of recruitment for Be At One, and then he's now head of recruitment for.
There's a chopping board right there, by the way.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
see,
nice.
this is my generation. It's just like I never cook fruit fresh to make a cocktail. You know, well, it's all in your preparation.
Very good.
He was saying that he was chatting to the old Be At One boys, and he was like, it's changing our day. You know, where you could bang out hundreds and hundreds of cocktails, bang, 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 bang. Now it's like muddle and shake, you know, and it's how times have changed. You know, it's.
I reckon the spindle mix is coming back into fashion. Me and the guys from EBS talking
money
about.
in the till, isn't it? You know, it's just quick. You know, fill that till.
I mean, you want to make a foamy like whiskey sour? You spindle mix for it. It's done. You know, we
No, it's not cold. A muddler.
Muddler is right. Not there. Over there.
Cool.
It's not cold, but you can make it cold by then putting some ice and giving it a quick shake or something. But I reckon spindle mixers will come back, and I don't think they've gone very far as yet.
Where do I find the sugar, bro?
Sugar, there's sugar syrup.
That's exactly what I need.
Damn it.
Beautiful.
Brown sugar.
How are you on measures and jiggers and stuff like that? I'll tell you a pet peeve.
What do you mean? Measures? What?
So, first of all, I can't do that for love nor money.
Yeah.
And make it look good.
Yeah.
You know, and I respect people that do that. One thing that really frustrates me is someone use a jigger to make a cocktail, but use jigger, pour it in, and pour some more in.
Yeah, I hate it.
Or use jigger to pour that, and then just free pour this. And like, either or, no?
I mean, when I teach people about jiggers and that, I'm like, look, jiggers become popular so bartenders can make it look like they know what they're doing.
Right.
Because they want to be able to
But don't you
do.
look like you know what you're doing more if you're free pouring?
But they just want to have an extra. I mean, I'm saying they want to. I don't know, but I'm getting the. It's the typical thing that people see what other people. Sorry, noise.
Sorry.
So people see what other people are doing, and then they mimic it to try and look the same, to think that that's what you need. You know, you need to do. Nice cut. Oh.
Not bad. It's
Not bad.
I've been doing it a long time.
I do genuinely think that people do it just so they can do a little bit of flair, that they can show off. Do you know what I mean? And I think that using a jigger, I love it as well. I've jumped on the gravy train of using it as well. But in terms of what's better, free pouring or jigger, that's the age-old question which, you know, nobody can really answer. It's opinionated. But do you know what is the most accurate measurement to pour with? Or what's the most accurate tool for pouring measurements? You know what it is?
An egg cup.
No.
I don't know.
Optics.
Yeah, of course it is.
Optics. If you exactly. Because like you said, people.
I'm going to top this with ginger ale, is that right?
Yeah, there's soda there in a bowl.
Yeah, I know, but I want one.
Okay, go for it. Yeah,
No,
go for
no.
it. I'll make you one afterwards. No, do it. Ginger ale. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it annoys me as well, and they're like, and they just carry on pouring. It's like, why bother using a jigger? You know, it's just most people say I'm using a jigger because I want to be very accurate, but then they go ahead and just pour a little bit more in anyway. So it doesn't make sense to me. But I understand that people like to have that extra piece of equipment to do something fancy. Oh, well, look at that.
It's not bad for the first time in a few years.
Huh? Not bad at all.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get myself another straw then. COVID and all that. How is it?
That is delicious.
Yeah, not bad.
That is very good. I'm going to make myself one in just a minute.
If I did know that we were making drinks, I would have brought Don Q rum.
Oh, sorry.
Puerto Rico.
Excuse me.
Sorry, boss. Yeah. So where were we? Just realised I didn't tidy up after myself.
Oh,
Very naughty.
fucking disgusting.
So I'll tell
So
you
tell
about
me-
my first comp.
You told us about, what was your first one? Roadhouse?
Yeah,
So
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse was the first competition that you did.
October of 02. Yeah.
So, and then, how did things snowball from there, basically?
I became mates with you and Garner and stuff. Yeah.
And we're still trying to get rid of him.
But don't forget, that's weird. So I've seen, of Garner especially, you know, it's watching this guy on video, it just sounds so like fanboy, doesn't it? But, you know, like, fast forward 2 years, I'm living with the guy, you know, and I cannot speak more highly of Neil. Like, he really helped me out, not just in flesh, in life, you know, he's
Sure.
a bit of a big brother figure to me, and we're still friends to this day. But yeah, no, I joked about it, but yeah, I got to know you. Neil, both Neils, Neil Garner and Neil Lowry. Andy was my boss for a while. That was an interesting relationship until we both had a Saturday night off once, which is really rare. And he just said, "Do you want to go for a beer?" And then, well, he was best man at my wedding. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah. And then it was just like, so with my Flair career or progress, I just wanted to promote myself. I never, ever entered a competition going, right, what do I have to do to win this? I never had that mentality. I just wanted to, I got more of a kick out of people I didn't know coming up to me going, that was awesome. That was
Sure.
a great show. Really enjoyed that. Instead of going, oh, I should have won. You know?
It's funny, I just spoke to Flavius a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking something very similar. Basically saying, look, I never really thought about winning. Obviously, I tried and I practiced, but I was more about showing something new, standing out, and being that person who did something different on stage. And I do think that is missing from a lot of people. But I know that's something that you used to do a lot.
Well, yeah, I did. I've said this a million times. So I'd started with Fridays, Xanthi and Roadhouse, which to me, those bars were a small stage, and the customers, the guests I served were my audience.
Sure.
As soon as you step into a competition environment, all I saw was the stage got bigger and your audience got bigger.
Yeah.
So it was just like, right, look up, smile, wink, whatever you do, ready to have a good time, guys, here we go. That type of thing. And then people are like, oh, he seems quite warm, you know, I'll give this guy, instead of, people like to go, come on then.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
That's
You know?
annoying. They haven't done anything. They're like, make some noise. For what? You've
Yeah.
done nothing.
So so that was my mentality. But then there was opportunity to travel, and it was literally Neil Garner, Neil Lowry, and you, and I was the fourth guy tagging along to enjoy the ride more than anything, but to promote myself, so
Sure.
people knew who this stretch guy was.
Yeah.
Never expected to win it. I'd love to make. Majority of the time, made enough money to cover the trip.
Yeah.
Which was my aim.
So when prize money was good back then.
Yeah, seventh place was still decent money. But yeah, and majority of the time, out of the four of us, I was fourth. Not all the time, but most of the time. But yeah, I did that for years. And then the only three comps I really practiced for was Roadhouse World Final 04, 05, 06. That was it. I didn't... Come on, how many times did turn up at Flair go, Tom, can I borrow your tins? And you were like, oh, for God's sake, you know.
I remember the one of the Roadhouse finals you practiced, and it shows when you watch the video today. I think that was the one that you asked me to send you the clip for.
Yeah. Right
and it shows, and you put in a couple of weeks of practice, and actually did a really fucking good job.
I was so proud of that, because I got through. That's why I cut it off at the end of Bottle of Tin, because I hit it all to the beat and didn't drop, and I was like, that's what you get out, what you put in, basically.
100%.
And yeah, and it was, you know, went around the world. I mean, Moscow twice, Romania 5 times, Shanghai. Well, that's more hosting, but to go to these, it's called. You in Romania?
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, that's cool. You know, it's. I You know, I've never been to Estonia in my life, or Poland 4 times. It's because of this, and I loved every minute of it. And I was just trying to promote myself as much as possible.
Sure. And I think going back to that, what you used to bring to the stage was this showmanship aspect, which is missing a lot, even when we were doing it. But it was from the early years, 2000s and that. It was a lot more show orientated. Now it's a lot more difficulty and orientated. But I remember how you used to try every time, and we all did it. Especially the qualification rounds at a competition. We go, right, how does the stage look? What's there? What can we mess about with on stage? Mm-hmm. I slowly sort of veered away from that, but you do that a lot more. Because I remember there was one time King of the Ring. It was the first King of the Ring, right? You came in there like, and stretch! Like that. And I'm like, look, is he? And then you come crawling out from underneath the stage. I'm like, hey!
But the joke was that kind of went over everyone's head, because you had 100 people down to 20 and then down to 10. And I made the last 20. But the joke was that, like, how the fuck's this kid in the last 20? So I came from under the stage with my pass, saying, look, I'm allowed here. Like, but everyone just laughed the fact I was under the stage.
No one got it.
No one got that. but yeah, you just, again, I wanted to, probably what I got out of that was, that kid was under the stage.
Exactly.
Not like he did this and this and this. It was, Knobhead was under the stage. But people seem to like it.
But you get remembered for those
That was the plan. That was the plan.
And that was a good competition. King of the Ring 04.
That is unbelievable.
Was a good trip, no?
Well, I just turned 21. Do you remember? Because my birth date's the other way around. So 4th of March. We were there middle of March, but my date read 3rd of April.
Right.
So we're going to get drinks. And I'm like, mate, your birthday's in 2 weeks. I'm like, no, in England it's day, month, year. Everywhere we went, but then we were there for the 3rd of April, and it was like, happy birthday. Yeah, it's my birthday. Yeah. Let's go. But we were there for 2 weeks, though. That was.
Were we?
Because we stayed at Christian Juan Francesco's house for 2 weeks. And it was. Yes. And we did the comp, but then we stayed longer and then partied with Robin and everyone, and it was an absolute con. I slept one night I went to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Oh, I remember one of the worst hangovers after doing layback to fucking 151 on Carnival Court, thinking, no worries, Ghana, Francesco, like that. They're like, Tom, come over here. Yeah, there's a shot for you. And then, like, as you know, in Vegas, like, shots are like full drinks.
Looks like a Jack and Coke.
Exactly. And I'm like, what's that? And it's like a tall glass, but half full. They're like, I'm smelling it, and no idea about alcohol, rum, whiskey, whatever, what was what back then. It smells like whiskey. I'm like, fuck it. So I neck it, and it was Bacardi 151.
Stomach's doing cartwheels just thinking about it.
And I remember that was probably the same time when you slept as well, because I got back to Juan and Christian's house and that, and I just couldn't get up the next day. It was terrible. But anyway, the competition was great, man.
The comp was it was different level. I mean, number one, there was over 100 guys. Organisation was second to none. The Carnival Court team headed it up, didn't they? So I had enough money to come and enjoy the ride. Top 20 was a target. Never thought 100 guys. I never thought I would get a sniff at that. But then there was 2 scoring categories, your flair and your entertainment. I was like, well, I can go quite high in one of these categories, I think. And I just had to think around outside the box. And I used songs from the film Cocktail, instantly relatable and puts a smile on people's face. So I came 13th actually, which. Yeah, that was $1,200.
Mate, exactly.
That was $1,200, yeah.
20, if I remember, was $200.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine, no problems.
Red,
exactly. I remember that comp because the same thing. The best organised comps I've ever been to. Like, literally, you just had to turn up with your CD. Mm-hmm. CD, not MP3 or USB. And they'd give you a crate, and then there was a production line of equipment of everything that you needed, Smirnoff bottles, other unlabeled bottles, tape, everything.
Everything you needed.
You just put it all in the crate, taped it up. I remember standing on stage and they had that revolving stage. Mm-hmm. So you'd stand behind, there'd be a curtain there and the stage is behind you, and then you just come out like that.
Use the clip of Lowry for that one, with his shades on and the 2 hot women next to him.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm here. But I remember standing there, shitting myself, about to go on stage, and I'm like, I could really do some chewing gum. Before you know it, boom, chewing gum. like that.
Yeah,
You
no.
got any water? Bang, water.
Yeah, those guys were like a
All
Formula
over
One
it.
pit team, weren't they?
Completely.
They were just all over it. Like, yeah, it was brilliant. But so, are we going to talk about what the conversation and then his routine, or
The conversation between old Christian Del Pescios and Nicholas and Johnnyos.
So this was. So I'm just going to tee this up because you spoke about it with Nicholas in your podcast, and then Rodrigo spoke to his brother Christian in his podcast about this conversation. You know, we're trying to make it out like it was something, but I believe it was, and I wish I. So long story short is I had a video camera like this big, and they started debating what is Flair. So I just went boop. and then we were around our friend's house, and a minute into it, Nicholas went, "Are you filming this?" I said, "Yeah," and he just said, "Turn it off." I was like, "Oh," and then I should have just left it filming because we all left. They spoke for hours, didn't they? We all left and came back and left and came back. But I think that would be well watched.
I think we kind of brought it up and mentioned it. It's not that there was a big feud.
No.
I mean, Flair has had its feuds between bartenders, and for sure, Nicholas and Christian definitely had their feud. I mean, myself and Nicholas had our feud. Everybody did. That's just the beast of competition at the end of the day. I think the great thing about this conversation, it was very early days on in the world of competing on bartending competitions, and the two biggest names at the time coming together and discussing what Flair was like exactly why I started to do these podcasts, because we want to hear that opinion. You want to hear what they have to say. And yeah, it got heated a little bit, and yeah, everyone is very opinionated. But I think as bartenders and Flair bartenders, we're not the kind of people to shy behind and go, yeah, okay, we're very, very opinionated people, and we'll say our thoughts. So, I mean...
But if this was nowadays, it'd be online.
It would be.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's interesting. I didn't actually see the Christian and Nicholas chat. I heard...
Christian and Rodrigo chat.
Because Christian and Nicholas.
Oh, on the day, right? Okay.
No. I didn't see that, but Christian and Nicholas have done a podcast as well.
Have they?
Yeah.
I better watch that.
It's on Christian's Instagram channel. You can go and check that. He's done loads and loads of chats with different people, loads of chats. And Nicholas and Christian did a podcast together. I haven't had a chance to watch
Wow,
that.
I'll definitely watch that.
So that'd be good. But yeah, King of the Ring, definitely a big competition. Like you said, it was. After that conversation, and Nicholas always had something to prove, didn't he? And then basically came out and rocked that stage.
Can I just add, speaking of rocking that stage, there's a bit of a backstory to that as well, because I'd like to talk about another one in a bit, but there's two moments of Flair for me that stick out, and luckily enough I was 6 feet away from both of them. There's this one we're about to talk about, and then your last ever competition in 2015, was it? 16?
Yeah, 15.
So, in Nicholas's video, it's been viewed how many 100,000 times. There's a 21-year-old me in the background as his bar back going, yeah. That night of that conversation, when it all finished, Nicholas went into Robin's garage where it's all set up as a practice area, and it was myself. Are you sure you weren't there?
No.
Myself.
I mean, I'm sure I wasn't there.
It was myself, Lowry, Garner, and then Florian, who's Nick's student.
Yeah.
Who we still hadn't seen. He wouldn't let him Flair, would he?
No.
Not fair. And he goes, "Do you want to see what I'm going to do tomorrow night?" And the final was the next. "Do you want to see?" Yeah. Camera away, obviously. And I just sat in the corner and just sat there. I wasn't like buzzing. I was just like, "Yeah, I'll watch it." And I watched it and I went, "That was incredible." Like what he planned to do in the final, I saw beforehand.
Sure.
Fast forward to the final, Florian had booked his ticket wrong, so he had to leave the morning of the final, so he couldn't be there. And it's still to this day, it grates him, doesn't it? That he can do it. So I was like, Nick, I wanted to be near the main stage. I wasn't in the final for the main stage. I said, Nick, like, who's going to do Flo's job? And he was like, it's yours if you want it. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So I jumped that side, and you and Neil were the other side, weren't you?
Yeah.
Just, whether you were barbecue, you were getting
just getting a front row seat.
Exactly. And then this happened with all of this, grey area of Nick and Mig and Christian and all this, and Christian didn't enter as well. All this, and then he put on a performance like that, and I'm just like watching. I knew what's coming next. I was like, this is so cool. And then how many people were there? There was 2,000 in attendance, and then another 1,000 at the side that couldn't come in, but could. Come on, man.
It just goes to show as well, because if you watch that routine, the music he used was quite specific to him.
Yeah.
I think it was from like Africanism or something. The soundtrack, it was very sort of do,
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, well, no, you need to use specific music for specific crowds. But the great thing at Nicholas is a great salesman.
He grabbed him.
Just
put him there.
Yeah, you know, it was the epitome of bottle tin to the beat the whole way through, and then the ending with the spoon. It was a fantastic. It's not my favourite from him still. 2000 Grand Finals is my favourite Roadhouse.
Yeah, and it always will.
And again,
you were there live for that, weren't you?
I was there live for that.
I wasn't.
So
and yeah, 03's up there as well. But again, I was working. I was down in Bottle Bar, of course I was. But I didn't see 03 live. But I watched it back on DVD and I thought that was cool. But yeah, there's a few of the moments in Flair. But yeah, that's definitely up there, especially for such a young 21-year-old.
Yeah,
and being so close to that and being around all of that, and at the same time, I climbed the 3 rungs of the ladder that week. I went home with people like knowing who I was, which was quite cool.
I'm gonna make a mojito whilst we're just getting
No
to the
problem.
next part. But what was I going to say? So they just jump onto the other stool quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise the shot is a bit shit. So that was your first memorable moment of Flair.
Yeah.
And then the second one was the catch, was it?
No. Oh, well, it's highlights. Not first memorable moment, but a highlight. Yeah, do you want to talk about that now, or it's?
Yeah, why not?
Well, we know because it coincides with the hosting, I suppose. But
let's go into talk about. You went from competitions. Now, let me just give people an idea. You know, like you said, you were traveling around building your name up when you did. Very well, because you know.
I just thought of the answer to this question in my head. But
we couldn't get rid of you. What's that?
Well, no, it's like I basically took myself as far as I could until I went, right, that's it now.
Yeah, but this is the prime example of what I say to people as well. I'm like, look, don't go there to try and win. Just go there and build your name up, promote yourself, market yourself. Because if you're there putting yourself in the limelight on stage in front of other people, then if you get asked to do work, people are going to start thinking about you first. They'll invite you to competitions and whatnot. But you got to a point and then was like, well, you said you couldn't go any further, and then what happened?
The targets changed. So basically, you know, I was the guy that made people laugh, and not that it ran stale or anything. I mean, I'll be the first person to admit I went through a Nicholas stage of my Flair for about 6 to 9 months, where I was wearing beanies, I was wearing ripped jeans,
Me too, mate.
and I was being moody as hell on stage. And Garner pulled me to one side and went, "What are you doing? Where's Stretch gone? Like, this ain't you." And I was like, I didn't argue. I was like, you know what, you're dead right. And I changed overnight. Just went back to it. Let's have fun again. You know, you'll make mistakes. You'll get influenced by people and stuff like that. I don't mind admitting it. But all of a sudden, right? So you're now end of 2005, going into 2006, and Tomek Marek rocks up. Marek Pozluzny, Jay Dutois, all these people, and I'll remind Tomek and Marek of this. I was beating them when they. I was beating them when they first started. Fast forward 6.
Can you give me which comp did you beat them?
Oh, ask them. They know. I was people's targets for a while. Beat Stretch and all right.
Did you do Paris Flair Open?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that one that I beat you in Poland. Sorry, Poland.
Poland.
I had to get that in. I beat Tommy. I came second in Poland.
I thought we was going to try and go past that.
Yeah, but that was a highlight for me.
That was you got third or something.
Second, mate. Come on.
Sorry, excuse me. Lowry won it.
Never beat Lowry. I beat Garner twice. You once. Never beat Lowry.
And then Mikey Brooker was out there as well, no?
I believe so.
But yeah. Sorry. Anyway, carry on. So.
But yeah, no. So there's these
these
household names of Flair now. I was beating, but 6 months later they're all beating me because they're putting in 7 to 8 hours a day.
Big time.
I'm not blaming on the fact I had a job, but I only did an hour and a bit a day anyway.
If that.
Yeah, and I didn't practice routine.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, Steve, you don't just want to fade away here. I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I never thought it was a big deal to tell anyone, but 2006 World Final was going to be my last one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the 06 World Final, but there was over 30 guys in it, working Flair and heats in the same day.
Yeah.
It was still rammed, but people were tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went on mid-table, whatever. I was just like, I need to leave an impression here, if it's my last one.
Sure.
Switch.
Yeah. Where were we?
We were talking about my last Flair comp. And the original question was, how did I get into hosting a Flair comp? So just to take you up to that, how it happened, because there is a bit of a backstory really, because So 2006 World Final Roadhouse. I was the only one that knew it was my last comp. Didn't think it was a big deal to tell anyone. But on the day, the audience was tired, really tired, and I thought, right, well, I'd already, like a week before the comp, I was in the car, and this song called My Chemical Romance, it's a Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, came on the radio and went, I'm going to do it to that. Regardless of what I do, I'm going to do it to this song. A bit similar to Vegas, I'm going to come out of the audience. Because I was just there, I was like, this audience needs waking up. I'm happy to take the role of warm-up guy. Like, they need waking up.
You got to final 6 or?
Did I?
Sorry.
I came 9th in 2004 World Final,
Gotcha.
so I can say I was in the top 10 Flair Bartenders at one point, you know.
Sure.
Regardless of how many people weren't there that year. I'm having that, thank you very much. No, and then 05 I came 12th, and this one 16th or something.
Okay.
Not that anyone's counting. So I thought, right, I'm going to have some fun here. And yeah, I get introduced, I'm in the, like, again, I'm not on stage, I'm in the crowd, and I'm like, oh, fucking yeah, like this, where is he? Oh, he's in it, you know. Up and went, did my thing. The flair was average, but everyone responded and the energy went up. And,
Sure.
and I loved it. And I finished, I took a bow, and then you give me a hug, Garner give me a hug, I said, that's my last one. You're like, fuck off. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Not knowing what I was going to do. I was slowly getting into bar management at that time. I was like, I'm going to concentrate on that for a bit, still be a fan of Flair and come to Flair comps, but no longer competing. So that was November of 06. Fast forward to, I remember it so clearly. January of 07, my dad lived in Wales at the time, came to London to see me for a few days, had a bit of a tourist day. We're near Waterloo, Imperial War Museum, having a walk around, phone rings, and it says Tug. I'm like, what is it? If Tug calls me, he wants something.
What does he want?
So for those who don't know, Tug was the organiser of the Flair comp.
Tug was, let's just quickly
Let's
sidetrack
touch.
onto Tug a little bit. Tug was a guy who instigated a lot of stuff in the Flair world for many, many years. Like, he organised the Roadhouse. And one thing that Tug did at the Roadhouse competition, which no other organiser has done as well as him, was how he hosted everybody when they came there.
Mm-hmm.
So during the day, he was around buying people drinks, talking to people, saying hello, as he does. Beforehand, he was inviting them, taking them out in the night before. I mean, he was one of the founders of the World Flair Association. He competed, he worked at Roadhouse. I mean, he did a hell of a lot for the Flair world. So
super respected, like, great guy. Told me off many a time before hosting, like, as a bartender, like, see, don't do this, do this.
Yeah.
Yes, Tug, you know what I mean? Like,
but he called you, was it?
yeah, so he called me, and I thought, this is strange. I was with my dad, Tug, how you doing? Listen, I've been thinking, 2007, you're not flaring anyone. I said, no, because how'd you feel about being the host? And I literally just went, what? Mate, that's really kind of you. I'm gonna know the first thing about doing that. I said, no, I don't think it's for me, mate. I really don't. He said, listen, like, let's just make a pact or an agreement. He goes, give it a go. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Give it a go. And then on the day, I'm there and I'm bricking it. Before, you know, at the beginning of Roadhouse, there's only 100 people there.
Yeah. And everyone's like, what are you doing then, dickhead?
Yeah. Now this is the thing that changed it. Before I went on, and going back to about the stage, the bar, and the bar being the stage and getting bigger, he just went, be the guy that's behind the bar.
I remember you saying that.
But this time you've got a microphone.
Yeah.
All right, I can do that.
Yes.
I walked out. The lights go up. I went to say something, and just these 100 people just applauded, and I was so touched by it. Maybe those 100 people remembered what I did in the last comp type thing, and I just felt so at home. And I thought, yeah, let's have some fun with this. And don't get me wrong, it took me a while to learn, but you learn by your mistakes. And yeah, I ended up doing it for 9 years, and not just Roadhouse, across the world as well. And it was my path to stay involved, stay relevant, if you will.
Yeah.
And it is, and I loved it, and to be a fan with the mic, because I love it. Because let's be honest, previous hosts,
didn't give a shit. Dean Martin didn't care,
but absolute pro. He's a radio DJ,
very
pro
good.
with a microphone. Didn't care about the flair. The chap the year before me got so drunk that he couldn't announce the winners.
Who was that?
It was Jason, right? Jason.
Yeah, Jason
He was a
Fletcher.
Roadhouse bartender. He was just like, so I do this and this is free. Oh, brilliant. Couldn't announce the winners. So it's like, right, okay, so let's try and meet this in the middle here. So I'm genuinely excited about what's happening on stage. And yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, right, do you want to come and host in Moscow? Do you want to come and host in Shanghai? And Dubai,
What was
Monaco.
the some of the most memorable moments as a host?
Yours at the end, we'll finish with that. That is number one by far. What else? Oh, you put me on the spot now.
I meant there was one time, didn't I ask you to, maybe was it you? I asked you to introduce me when there was another host there or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
I didn't. I think a few lads that year. A few of the lads said, "Can you die?" I said, "No, that can't happen."
What about Bacardi Pro Flair? I mean, that was
was scary. That was really scary. It was
in Russia.
Yeah, because I haven't been doing it long, and all of a sudden, like we said, I think there was at least 1,000 people in that audience with cameras. Like I'm talking, and then I turn around the big screen, and there's my mush. I'm like, oh no, focus, you know. And then also I co-hosted with an MTV presenter, so it's just like him, me.
Yeah.
And it was just like, right, I need to get a rapport with this guy as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
It was great fun. Again, look, I mean, my first Sky Global Challenge, I introduced Mike McLean as the inventor of the Flair Cup. And as I'm doing this to an audience, he's there going, "No, I'm not. What are you talking?" I'm like, "You're not?" Like, "Oh, let's just have a conversation." Fuck the audience. Sorry about that.
So, I know you used to hate it when you were saying something and I was organising, you were hosting. I'm like, "No, Stretch, it's not that." And you're like, "When I'm fucking hosting, don't talk to me like this." It's like, I can't listen to two things at once.
Yeah. How pro with an earpiece? I have done it with an earpiece before, and that was interesting.
The best one, sorry, you know what I'm going to say, was you were introduced in a competition with
There's a few of them.
three judges, and you said, "Okay, give it up for Andy Collinson, yeah. Give it up for Sally Surka, yeah." And then you didn't know the next person's last name, which was Tom Sipos, and you go, "Give it up for Tom, woo!"
That was Athens, yeah.
That was Athens. And
this is Tom.
Woo! The funny thing is that because we know each other, when you make a mistake or when you make a joke, I'm definitely the person who's going to get it first.
Yeah.
And I knew when you did that, I'm like, doesn't know his second name. Does not know his second name.
But also, I think the key to it is that you've got to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't take yourself too seriously, if you do, then it's game over because people are going to rile you up and get under your skin. The other, Pedro, bless him, so I'll give this big intro to Andy and a big intro to Tony Adams. And our third judge, Tom Dyer's mate, Pedro. and a poor guy, he found the funny side of it. I was just like, fuck, I didn't ask Pedro what he does. You're Tom, mate. And then the other thing I went to, and I could call it arrogant, whatever, but I never use a clipboard. And things like that. So people didn't know, but if it was a new name I wasn't sure, I couldn't remember the top of my head, I'd have it written down on a Bevnap.
Yeah.
So at the end, as I introduce them, I'll grab that Bevnap, say the name, give it a little wipe and walk off so no one knows.
Yeah.
But then there's the other thing, so like Jay, when Jay was organising, he'd have the rundown on his clipboard of everything that's happening. He'd go like, "Have you read it? Have you read everything?" I was like, yeah, you read it. I was like, yeah, Jay, I've read it. And he goes, good clipboard, open it, there's a paragraph going, "Steve, you never read this, you're a fucking dickhead, blah, 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 blah. Read the thing." And I went, "Oh yeah, I didn't read it." And then Ollie would just put the most like Joe
Oliver
Vlogs, organiser. I worked under so many organisers, you know. But Ollie would put so-and-so bartender and who they're representing, but it would just be like bananas
in pajamas.
In pajamas.com. I'd say it, and it's like, "I'm Ron Burgundy."
Yeah, go fuck yourself, San Diego.
And I'd read it, and I was like, "Ollie, stop fucking with me." And it's like, but they're the fun things that not for the guy that I was introducing.
Oh man.
But thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was just like, I saw myself as like I'm the glue. I've got keep it all together. I cared massively about the audience and making sure people have fun, especially the non-Flair fans, because at the beginning of the Roadhouse, you get a percentage of people that have just come in for a drink. Like, what's going on here? So I've got to play with them.
Yeah.
And that type of thing. It was.
That was one thing that you did well, and when I tried to host myself, and I always thought about what you used to do, and introducing the people and everything is easy. That's easy. Introducing people, doing the countdown, everything else, there's a way that people can do it, but it's easy. But it's in between the competitors, the flirting with the chicks or the guys or whatever, talking to the bartenders, which definitely made your time as an MC much more enjoyable because it wasn't downtime. Normally now you're like, okay, and that was John. and then there's like a gap, and then there's nothing, and then right, next person up on stage is Tom, woo, you know, and then there's downtime. But you didn't fill that whole gap, but you definitely made the ending a bit of
and choosing that time well. So instead of like, right, you're ready, okay, now I'm going to go and do 2 minutes of, you know, talking to people or giving t-shirts away, where I should be doing that 2 minutes before the guy's coming. But that's a gamble, because you've got to say that guy, right, you've got 2 minutes because I'm about to go and do this, and by the time I'm finished, I need you ready. Yeah. You know, where if that's TV, but you've got 3 people with this going, okay, right, he's going to finish in a second, right, you go, that was me, I had to do it all. And it was difficult. And the other thing that really grabbed my gears was some people that, let's just put this politely, were entering competitions that were nowhere near the level to enter a competition yet. Yeah. And to commentate on that, like, you don't watch a football commentator or a gymnast commentator in the Olympics going, oh, he tried. Oh, bless him. Oh, you know, it's not good, so I'm not going to say it is. And I've got organisers going, say something good, say something. I'm like, what? Like, what can I say? Well, some idiot that's drunk and takes his shirt off and, you know,
pisses on the floor. Yeah. Pisses in a cup and drinks it.
I wasn't there for that.
Which happened.
That didn't happen at Roadhouse.
What about the guy who worked at Roadhouse one time, and he made his drink in a shoe, first of all. This is like when it was more professional, because Terry Barnes did it many, many years ago. He's like, he did his routine, it was terrible, unfortunately. And I'm going to tell you who the guy was. He nicknamed himself Domino. Right. Remember the guy?
No.
Anyway, he worked at Roadhouse. He had some decent flair, but his routine wasn't very good. He made his drink in a shoe, and then basically just kind of went, what? Jumped off the stage and walked off, and everyone was like,
you look like tumbleweeds.
What? What's going on like that? DJ, like this.
But there's a compay, there's nothing I can say. Like, what? Move on. Yeah. You know.
So do you think that it is in some ways that's the fault of the organizer and the competitions allowing these people who aren't prepared to come up on stage? Do you think it's detrimental to the competitions to a certain extent?
Yeah, I do. I think it's no one's fault, because unless you got to send me a 5-minute video before I let you on the Roadhouse stage. I mean, there's plenty of other small comps out there where you can practice. I used to love doing road. I did 4 a year, if that, because it's stage time. There's no better stage to be on as a competitor.
Sure.
But as a beginner, like I say, I only did my first one because I knew I'd have the support there of loads of people that didn't even know me, but worked on the same island as me.
Sure.
You know, and I just thought, as long as I smile, it's all good. I know I had enough in my arsenal not to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
But when there's one guy, and after a minute, he's given us everything he's got, you're like, that's a long 4 minutes.
So do you think competitions then, because I've talked about competitions to Jumbles, talked about it to Flavius, and I'm seeing Andy next week. So I'm going to talk about competitions to Andy. Do you think Flair competitions these days, or then, or whenever, you know, what's your opinion on it? Like, do they need to change? Were they better before, worse now, vice versa?
This goes back to the statement of, like, I used to work in this bar, but it got so much better after I left. You know, I used to Flair between 03 and 02 competitively, 02 to 06, but it's not the same as it was back then. Part of me believes that, because 03 for me, the UK final, which you won, the world final, which Nick won.
Yes.
Yeah. The UK final, there were 6 here. Any one of you could have taken that.
Yeah.
World final, there were 6 here. Any one of you could have taken that, and it was exciting. Like, who's bringing their A game? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? If you fast forward to the last couple of years, you kind of know what's coming with each individual person, is whether they hit it or not.
Yeah.
With one new move
possible coming up the ranks.
Yeah, or a new move of that person. But sometimes now, I've seen some of the world's best repeat routines in similar level competitions.
Yeah.
Repeat music.
Yeah.
Never happened then.
Never happened, did it? No, I agree.
You know, also another factor now is I think music should be vetted.
Yeah.
Right? I had DJs falling out with me because in between routines, I'm like, can we play something that's here, or this song that makes your audience go, I love this song.
Yes.
Same with the Flair Bartending routine.
Yeah.
If you, I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Flavius, which I got to disagree, where you're just like, sod them, you play something that you like. No, I'm sorry, you're putting on a show, you know, and you need to. First thing they hear before you even pick up a glass is that music.
Sure.
And if you can get half the room going, you're halfway there, But when it's like breakbeat or dubstep or something like that, it's just no. I like that. I like I do like. Is that? I'm shit. I'm old. Is that breakbeat?
No.
What's that?
Breakbeat.
That right? I like that. But the dubstep. That's that. What is that? Like, give me a break, mate. You know?
I do think that there's two sides to that story.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not sitting here going, I am right. You know?
No. But I do think to a certain extent you're right, because it's that age-old. Oh, he's doing this to win. Like Stiffer, for example, uses breakbeat and some more sort of up-tempo music. So people would essentially go, well, I need to use up-tempo music, but don't understand music. Because we're getting people come up onto a stage in a competition who don't know how to perform, who don't know how to act, don't know how to behave, and don't know what is good and bad music. So essentially, 4 parts of their routine, they're terrible at. And I was as well when I started, until I learned. But, sorry, my point is that the competition, like you said, music. Maybe you can suggest a certain type of music. Maybe you have to reach a certain level. Let's say the WFA graded, you've got to be blue level and above to be able to compete.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that would make your job as a host a lot easier,
Massively.
and it would make it more entertaining and exciting for the audience, so they're not watching Johnny Joe blogs who's like giving it a shot. Do you know what I mean? You gave it a shot for your first one, it worked out well. But you're getting a lot of the newbies. No offense to the newbies. I mean, I definitely would love to see more new people.
I encourage it, but it should be just
more accessible
later on. You know, it shouldn't be there for every. Roadhouse is like, come on, man. I mean, it's a big statement. With the Holy Grail of Flair comps. You know, it shouldn't just be as easy as emailing in an entry form.
No.
You've got to earn that, surely, right?
Well, that's why Jay brought in Prepare to Flair.
Right.
Jay Detroit organised and was like, we need a beginners competition, and Prepare to Flair, which I think was a great name for a beginner comp. And it was an opportunity for those beginners to cut their teeth on stage, keep it simple, keep it safe, and then once you've built up your confidence, then you move to the big boys of the normal Roadhouse comp.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that change as well and overlap, which well, we haven't seen much this year, to be fair, but
it's just scary. I would host the world final every year if you let me, but I couldn't commit to all the others.
Sure.
But then Adam came along, Adam Keeligan, the new host of Roadhouse, who's now a great friend of mine, and he's taken it and ran with it, and I wish him the best. And it's great to see that it's left in good hands, and I'm more than happy for him.
You kind of need that. You should have had that sort of Passover period of the voice of Flair, because you were called the voice.
He
of
ain't
Flair.
having that.
No. But who had it before you was Chico.
Chico's
son.
to me, mate.
I mean,
Chico.
JD Spradlin was in America.
Never met JD. That was like Legends days, right?
That was
early Legends days.
He used to run across the stage backwards and forwards. And then you had Chico's son,
Yeah.
who was like, looking good behind the wood, looking fine behind the pine.
I got to host the Flair Comp in Vegas, co-host with him.
Yeah.
And that's a highlight for me. Like, it was an absolute pleasure. We never like pass under the torch, I think, because he had his style and I had mine, and it did actually work well.
Yeah.
And he's a really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
But no, Chico's Chico, man. He's in his own box. You know what I mean? And I'll never disagree with that.
He was the king of those one-liners.
Oh my god, naming moves as they're happening. like Garner's the boa constrictor. Come on, man. Awesome. What a guy.
It would be like 3 bottles, 2 hands, 1 man. Mate, they were brilliant.
You know?
Finest call, it's in there.
Yeah.
Chico's. Oh no, that was JD Spradlin actually.
But no, it's just like when I got the opportunity, I'm like, I'm not going to try and be like him. I've got to come up with my own style in this. This is me, you know. Funny story actually. I was doing this job. I was in a bar in East London, chatting to the bar manager, talking about brands and products and menu development and stuff like that. And a bartender came over. He was just busy. I wasn't talking. How do I know your voice? I was like, sorry, mate. Your voice. Where do I know your voice from? And I just kind of went, do you like Flair Bart? He went, I love, like, not my face, my voice.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm having that. Thank you very much. That was, it walked out of my head like this.
Voice of Flair, man. Fucking
How
brilliant.
do I know your voice? Brilliant. Loved it.
So over all the years, all the different areas that you've worked within the bartending world and the Flair bartending world, you must have been given a lot of advice from different people. Can you relay some of the best advice that you've had over the years? Can you remember anything?
Well, I've mentioned in Flair, I mentioned a few. Like Garner was great with really helping me develop you as well. I know you're sat in front of me, but like teaching me how to do just like don't do that, do this.
Sure.
That type of thing. Garner, you know, if I ever trying to step out my box, Garner brought me in. Andy Collins, another one, but that is as a bar. He was my bar manager. Wherever you know, when you put those levers on at Roadhouse, there is certain there's like a pump next to it, that's pumping your chest out like that.
Yeah, all the bars.
You know, and then ever it got too big, Collinson wound me in. You know, and I love that about him. Sometimes he was fucking horrible about it, but he was right. So it was good advice. But also, you know, I've worked for some great bar managers, which I've learned so many good things. I've worked for some horrible bar managers and general managers who should be in prison. You know what I mean? Some of these people I've worked for, but I've learned the odd thing from them, like in certain areas, but a lot of what not to do.
Sure.
You know, I wouldn't advice, just like, okay, I like how he handled that situation or this situation, and or how he spoke to a member of staff, you know, and things like that. So I'm like a sponge. I try and absorb as much as I can. Even to this day, when I go into this role, where the role I do now for Mangrove, where I'm like talking to a bar about possibly having this product or this product, and let's say the owner or the general manager or the bar manager might put up a wall, going, no, not happening. My boss now, I'll mention this to him, and he go, well, try this, and next time we go, I'll try it, and it worked. I'm like, fuck, do you know that? You know, but it comes down to experience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So individual bits of advice, the tug bit for a host, that sticks with me for a long time. But
but there wasn't anything that stood out specifically, like someone said, all right, don't eat yellow snow, or you know, like those little snippets which helped you generally as a bartender or a Flair bartender, or just in life in general, more so, because I think like from me, I had
give me an example.
Like I can't give you an example because I can't think of it.
It's a difficult question, to be fair, but you know, just advice in general is just it's not advice, but I've just always gone along in life. It's just like, it quite upsets me if someone would turn around and go, don't like him. You know, I've always thrived to be, oh, nice guy, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Or I can work with that guy or work for that guy.
Yeah.
I've always strived to be that guy. I don't know if this isn't advice, but one thing that really stuck with me, you know the guy. So, you know, at EBS bartending school, they would your students would come to Adventure in Covent Garden and work as work experience.
Yeah.
Right? And I was the manager there. So we'd get these different kids every week to come in and work for work experience. Fast forward 3 years later, I'm in a bar in London Bridge, and I'm chatting away to the manager, and he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I was like, it's Kez. And I was like,
oh yeah.
And I was like, no. He goes, I remember you. He was like, when he was on his work experience, one of the toilets got blocked. And there was puke and stuff like that. And he's on work experience, not even being paid, but you know, he's the runner on the floor. He came round, and we're looking at this, and I've just got 4 gloves. I said, look, I'm not expecting you to do this way, let's do it together. And we cleaned it up. I don't remember him, but he said, I remember that day. Because this is the guy that's not just going to go clean that up, he's going to put some gloves on and do it with me. So that's the way I live my bar life, is I would never ask you to do something I wouldn't expect to do myself.
Exactly.
And things like that. So it's
somebody must have taught you that, I would imagine, you know, like, because it's something I got taught the same thing, you know, like, don't ask somebody to do something you wouldn't do yourself.
I used to hate it when, so we won't name a particular bar because every bar's got that guy where you'd finish your station and you'd think, oh, you've cleaned it to your best of your ability, and then someone would just walk on like that, probably had a few beers, probably a bit extra, you never know, and just be like, shit, do that again, shit, crap. And you're standing there going, you've just got a really good break now, you're like, what are you talking to me like this for? So when I got to the level where I'm checking people out, grab a cloth, I'll grab one as well. Okay, there's a bit there, grab that, I'll get this bit. Yeah, it's like, oh, nice one, Steve. You know, I'm not going to go at you for missing a bit. We'll get it together. Sure. You know,
it's not throwing your weight around.
Yeah, the bar industry is full of a lot of people that we're making drinks at the end of the day, and we're trying to enhance people's experience on their nights out. We're not saving lives, and just people just really get above their station, and it really grinds off gear. So my ethos in life was to never be that guy. Don't get me wrong. There's been times when I'm like, you're a dickhead there, to myself, and I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
But yeah, advice, that's a difficult question.
I think that's a good thing. No, it is, but I think that advice, you just said that final sentence, is that we're making cocktails, we're not saving lives. And I think there's a lot of people in the bartending world, Flair, mixology, bar, whatever, who need to understand that. You are making cocktails. You're essentially drug dealers. All right, that is what we call a drug. It's just got tax on it, and the government makes money from it. All the other ones is just not.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, you're for every new person and pro bartenders, you're making cocktails, or in some cases, you're not even making cocktails. You're just juggling bottles around. You know. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything which you know, something that anything surprising about you that people don't know? Or that people wouldn't expect, or that perhaps, you know, like you would. I suppose one of the things is that I know that you're a football coach, heavily into football.
Yeah.
There is one other thing actually that I remembered, which you're quite a knowledgeable person on Titanic.
Yeah, I told that in Vegas, didn't I? Yeah, no, I grew up just loving the story of the Titanic and just know so many different weird facts about it. And then when the film, James Cameron's film came out, I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. No, that didn't happen. But yeah. So no, for some reason I don't know why. I just I think my mum just had books on it and old films of it, like made in the 60s.
I thought you did. You told me you did a school project.
My
on it.
English GCSE was about write about something that annoys you, and I wrote about the film. And I did all right. I got a good grade. How I just put what was fact and what was fiction, and it annoyed me.
What was fact?
Well, just like the officer. We really talk about the Titanic in this podcast. So with what the officers did as the ship sank, they got them completely wrong of where they were on the ship, like what side of the ship they were.
Wow. Did the band play when all the way down?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there, but, but yeah, no, that's pretty much true. You know, they didn't mention the fact that the guys in the lookout, the guy forgot his binoculars and left them in Southampton.
Oh fuck.
Which might have been a huge factor if he hadn't. We might have seen that iceberg. You know, loads of different things like that. But yeah, no, it's a weird fact about me. It's a weird. My granddad, who's no longer with my dad's dad, was part of the design team for the Spitfire, which he designed the propeller on it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks to him, you know,
Beautiful.
all Spitfires can fly pretty well.
Yeah. Well, the fact we're not speaking German.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I've got a few more questions left for you. We've got a few more things to talk about. Quick one. What has been your influence in the bartending world? If you could say like your main influence in the bartending world, what would it be?
What, as a person or a thing or
anything? Like, what do you think? Right, what my involvement in the bartending / Flair bartending world, what
have I brought to it?
Yeah. What has your influence been? Like, obviously you're a host.
Yeah.
So you brought that to a fucking level.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say you know, when I retired from Roadhouse or whatever you want to call it, and Andy said those nice things about me. It's just like, you know, when people come up to me and go, "You're the best in the world at this."
Sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's their opinion. People might have opinions, maybe not. But for someone to say you're the best in the world at something,
it's fantastic.
I'll take that. Thank you very much. And it's just, you know, just to pass on, just be nice. You know, it's like, don't get me wrong, there's people who might Stretch is an idiot. Fair play, it's your opinion. But if I can get the majority of people to go, "You're a nice guy, I learned something from him," or I enjoyed watching you, I'll take that.
Sure.
Influence, I don't know. I mean, I've trained hundreds of bartenders, and if they can take something from me that's helped them, I'll take that. I don't know what it is, but you know, hopefully there's people around the world that go, "Oh, I worked with Stretch once and I learnt this. Thank you very much." Hopefully that's there. You know, I don't know. But I
definitely think, you know, your influence of hosting has definitely changed the world of Flair. I've learned from it when I've hosted, from the tips and tricks that you've sent to me and told me. I know Adam's learned from it. I think that's been your main, you know, thing that you've brought to the Flair bartending world, at least.
And I was never trained in any of it. I learned it all, and there's still stuff to learn. You know.
Sure.
But yeah, I just watch little bits from other people. You know, when I've done little TV bits like Sky Vodka documentaries and stuff. I hated talking to a camera. I want people there. I want to see the smiles. You know, when you're just talking to this little square, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
Can we go again? And it's just like, you could literally see the cameraman go, "Oh, for fuck's sake." You know? I'm like, "Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing," you know. So, but yeah, no, it's number one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed getting out there. And it's funny when you like, I think I did a comp with you I hosted a comp in Poland. And like the first day when everyone's there, meet and greet, and everyone's like, Tom, and I'm just like, Then the heat happened, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's you! I'm like, there it is. Thank you very much. Yeah, but then when I got invited over to Vegas to host that comp, that's why I asked for that clip of me flaring, because a lot of people now don't know that I used to compete. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
come on, man! Like you've got the internet. You're allowed to go way back then. We couldn't, you know. It was, yeah.
All right, so
I'm waffling.
Have you had any major sacrifices over the years that you'd had? You know, like, oh, you was in Vegas and your wife was living in, or your fiance at the time was living in UK. You was living in Vegas. I guess that was difficult at the time. Have you had any like major sacrifices that you've had to?
Well, not me personally. It's just like if I wanted to go and do something, I'd do it. If anything's a sacrifice, I owe it to her. You know, she's a very ambitious person. She's doing great in her professional life, but she basically took a year off for me to pursue what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Without being coy to call it love, whatever you want. I've been married 6 years next week. We've got a 2-year-old who's the best thing in the world. So it all worked out. But my wife sacrificed stuff.
Wow.
With me, number one, I needed to pay bills, so we work, but everywhere I worked, I wanted to make the best of myself and the best of that environment I'm in. Give an example, I worked for Be At One when they had 4 bars, I've now got 50. I worked for Adventure when they had 3 bars, I've now got 12. So if you ever want to make your company even bigger, just hire me for a bit, get rid of me, and then you'll do great.
The bar was better after Stretch left.
Exactly. I will be that person that go, I used to work here, it got so much better after I left. But you know, if I can leave an impression with something or someone, that's all good. But sacrifices, my body, you know.
Have you had any serious injuries or? Like...
Well, still, there you go. There's one there. It's a little gash there. Making myself a glass of water. There you go. Wasn't even flaring.
Living the dream.
Yeah, but I've got scars on my thing. I've got a scar here. I'm not going to show you because my belly is a lot bigger than it should be. But I've got a scar across here, which was literally just 2 glasses. Dropped one, caught one with the broken glass. Friday stripes. Didn't really, because the adrenaline was running.
It turned into just red.
Red. And someone was like, excuse me. I was like, oh.
Excuse me.
Scars.
Wow, did you have stitches?
No, I just left it, but there's a decent scar there, yeah. It's
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nothing on the hands or?
There's little ones. That's from popping bottles.
Oof.
Yeah.
Can you still do it? Go on.
What, have we got a blade?
No. Maybe.
It's the no-look pop. I used to do that quite well. I don't know if I can still do it. Oh, you got tonic bottles though. That'll take my finger off. Well, you know I was quick opening 6.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the same. Yeah, I'll do. Well, I used to do the no-look. Can I still pop it? I don't know. It's been a long time. No. No.
Way!
There you go. And bleeding.
Yes.
That's why I don't do that.
I'm bleeding. Go on, show the camera, please.
Oh, it's only a little bit.
Well,
but so I'm gonna have to have a drink of soda now, aren't I? But
I'll do something. Injuries is something which I've been very lucky with, to be fair.
yeah.
But you definitely get lots of cuts. I mean, there's some people that have been literally sliced tendons open and all sorts of stuff.
Did it happen on stage as well? Like, what are the girls?
What do you want to drink?
Soda water, gin and soda. Vodka soda. I don't know. Squeeze a lime.
Sure. Yeah, go on stage.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Where's the camera?
That's it. They definitely got it from that, didn't they?
I don't know. On your way of making a drink.
All right then. Whilst I'm here being your bartender, have you got any favourite bartenders that?
Oh, absolutely.
Love watching. Or working with?
So it was only one night, and he's still a name. I'm sure he's still a name in the industry. But I went to Lab. This is years ago, when I was still like early 20s. But a guy called Jack Hubbard.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was just everything. Just speed, complex, difficult cocktails, like immaculate cocky, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And I was just watching him, and I was just like, this guy's quality. And he was literally halfway making the drink, and he went, I know I am stretched. I was like, yeah, okay, tick. That was class. I never really seen him bartend much after that, but come on, man, that's 15 years ago, and I still remember it. So
yes.
Thank you very much. Work with Vicky Patras was massive towards me as part of my development. When I first joined Roadhouse, and the lads that were there, they'll admit this, and they're all friends now, but they're not your friends to start off with. You've got to earn their friends.
Roadhouse.
You've got to earn their respect, and that's down to speed and stuff like that. But Vicky wasn't. Vicky was like, all right, me and you, we'll have some fun here. And then if I did something wrong, she'd go, no, try it this way, try that. And to work with it was just fun, because I'd throw bottles around and people were like, yeah, that's all right. And then you've got this really hot girl at the end of the bar doing it, and just everyone's watching. You're like, well, I don't look like that. And then we just had a really good relationship. And then the other one, when I worked for the living room group, I worked with Gav Smith.
Oh,
now, whether he's the best bartender I've ever watched? No. Best bartender I've ever worked with? Yes.
Really?
We just flow. So we're both ex-Fridays, we're both ex-Roadhouse, and then we work at living room together.
We're both quite witty as well.
And so that bar, the Friday night was the busiest night, and it was 5 stations. But on a Saturday night, it was very much a working, a suit area.
Yeah.
So Saturday nights weren't as busy. And Gavin and I just said to the boss, just let us two do it. And we had a good bar back. And it just flowed. Like, this was 07, 08, something like that. And we just, I'd take an order, because it wasn't just cocktails, it was pints, coffees, complex cocktails, the lot. If you could work a living room bar, And it would just be like, yes, mate, we do it, yeah, too. And Gav would be near the coffee shop. I got those coffees without even me saying something, and then 50 it down, like it's boom, not the coffee. But,
throwing coffee.
And it was just, we'd finish those Saturdays, and it would just be like, yeah, that was quality. He was really, really good fun to work with, and just all over it really. Real pros pro.
A pros pro. Yeah. No, I get that impression. And like I said, he's Gavin Smith is a
and
witty
banter. Oh my god, his banter was just and he's like, I've never seen him fight, but I wouldn't want to mess with him. So.
What about in Vegas? No bartenders over there you enjoyed watching?
Flippy all day long. Jess and I, we'll have a day out, we're going to sit on the Flippy station. You got a Vegas show and a drink. It helped that we were mates. That was Renee, of course, brother to me, love the guy. Rene Garcia, you mentioned him in Flavio's podcast, but those two guys were class. But to work with, Dario was always banter. Who else did I enjoy working with? Well, and I'd never worked with Ginger before until I got to Vegas, and me and him, my English, he and I.
No, you can say me and him, it's allowed.
Are still really good friends. Just had a little one, all the best, Ginge, with being a new dad and all that. Congratulations. But yeah, love that guy to pieces, and also. He was brilliant with Jess as well. They're brother and sister now. So
wow.
But yeah, he was good fun to work with. Good banter. But yeah, there's a long list, but those ones stick out. Ollie, Ollie Pluck. I've got so much trouble working with him. So much trouble. But what a character.
What a character.
Just on Ollie, just quickly, my first Flair comment we talked about earlier at Roadhouse, he went on first, and I'd heard his name, but he went on first because he had to.
Had to, yeah.
But I'm thinking, if that's the level, what am I doing here?
Let's just touch on Ollie Pluck very quickly, because he was one of the guys who was just doing bottle tin. That's free, that.
Last person ever to make a final, bottle tin only.
Exactly. And my first ever competition, I was shit. And
you come 30th, wasn't it?
Huh?
You came 30th, didn't you?
Oh, I don't know, but probably. I dropped
That's a cool story, dude.
It was terrible.
One of the best in the world. You came 30th.
I was that bad. My first, Roadhouse used to be seeded by the organizer on how good you were. So if you were the shittest, you go on first. If you were the best, you went on last.
Yeah.
So I turned up and I was on 5th. On my first ever comp, I'm like, sweet, I don't think I'm the shittest. Next comp, I was on 1st. Like that. This guy was shit, he's going on first.
Message!
Yeah, message. So from that point on, I was determined. I'm like, let's not try and win it. Because the first comp I thought, I can make the finals. Let's not try and win it. Let's just try and get lower and lower and lower down the running order as I possibly could. But my first ever comp, Ollie Pluck comes up to me and said, well done, mate, good job, you did a really good job. I know, yeah, I had a lot of mistakes in that. He goes, yeah, but you landed some moves. And he really, really pushed and inspired me to carry on going. Roberto Panici also came up and said something similar. And Joel Lindsay. Do you remember Joel Lindsay?
Yes.
So, yeah, there's some names that we'll try and put a little voiceover, a little
Half
clip
you
over
lot
for.
watching this weren't born when these people were flaring.
Yeah, exactly. But it really makes a difference. And for any pros who are watching this, you know, if you see new people coming up, encourage them, inspire them, because you have no idea how much that will make a difference to their lives.
Can I give you an
moving
example?
forward. Yeah.
So I was in Greece last year for the Anti-Flair Open, and people are arriving, and then we all there in the morning for breakfast, and then it's about to do a meet and greet and a briefing. And this little quiet kid from Taiwan, just sat on his own, and we had our little group, and others had their little group, and I just saw this guy sat on his own, and myself and Adam Keegan, who was hosting with me. That guy on his own. He's like, hey, how you doing, mate? You speak English? It was Eric Yu.
Yeah. Machine.
He's like, and he was like, yeah, I speak a bit of English. Apparently it took him like 22 hours to get there.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm just here. And no one else cared. No one else. We were, welcome to the conference. Well done for coming here. And then they did the welcome to everyone and blah blah blah. And then the practice area opened. Everyone starts flaring, and he's just sipping his coffee or he's drinking. Just goes over, just pick up a bottle and tin. I've never seen a practice area just stop and watch this kid. And I was just like, I looked at Adam and went, I'm so glad we went over and said hello now.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't know what was coming. And even back in the day when Nicholas was doing a bit around the back, or Lowry was like, everyone back up. He didn't go, right, everyone watch me. He just started practicing, and just everyone was like,
Mate.
holy. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I remember like it's yesterday.
Do you know what? I mean, I've got so much respect for the kid, because I've never seen somebody go up on stage and this happened to them more than once. Like, I've seen it. What I'm going to say is that sometimes you go up on stage, you have a good round, and everyone goes, yeah, great job, and the crowd are, woo, you know. We've all had it once. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've seen from back-to-back competitions, Roadhouse Grand Finals, Flair Crash. Like, he did his qualification round, Roadhouse Grand Finals. When he finished, it was like he just won the whole competition. Like, I was emotional for him, and the whole crowd like that. And he was smiling. Everyone's on the stage with him like this. And I said to him, I said, man, don't change. Don't change. I said, stay humble. Yeah. Stay humble. Stay humble. Yeah. Please
and I
don't
think
change.
he will.
And I think he will.
I think he will, yeah.
But and the one thing about him as well is that he is, in my opinion, the epitome of what Flair should be. And this is what I discussed with Flavius, is like, he turns up and he busts out whatever he fucking wants to do. I mean, he can do difficult stuff and he can do it well, and he makes mistakes.
He needs to iron out the mistakes, and you're world class.
Yeah, but he's not trying to do what you expect him to do. He's like, this is how I Flair. Watch, I want to show you my stuff. And he's putting his whole heart and soul into his routine, regardless of the outcome. Doesn't piss and moan about the results, doesn't piss and moan about other people. No. It's just like, look how, not even look how good I am, but look how my Flair is. Yeah. And that is what you need. And you can see he enjoys every single second of his Flair on stage. And please, Eric, don't change, because you're a force to be reckoned with. Yeah,
definitely one to keep a lookout for, because he's absolute class. And we've seen a lot of Flair. For us to say that about someone coming through the ranks is... it's a big accolade, so don't change.
No, please don't change. And you saw the podcast I did with Jumbles,
yes.
which Jumbles brings up and talks a lot about the flow state. Mm-hmm. Now you just told me that we mentioned you. I forgot. Sorry. Like, we're not waiting, we're watching. But what's your opinion on that? Tell us about waiting and watching.
So I've never heard the term the flow state, but since I've been in it, and it's the best feeling in the world the way Jumbles explains it, if your bar's set up right, where it should be, you don't have to do more than one step that way or one step that way.
Sure.
The flow state is getting interrupted more and more now, because there's so many different things that you can ask for.
Sure.
The method of making a cocktail has changed massively, which cannot interrupt you. You can go, yes mate, 2 beers, easy. Yes mate, 2 vodka coke, 2 mojito, that's for it, I can do that. Yes mate, what beers you got? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, completely fucked.
Flow state's gone.
Yeah.
Right?
If you can keep it with that, you're doing good.
You're moving away. It's like bang, quick, into that ice, bang. Yes, mate, you're all right. No problem at all. I like your watch. That type of thing.
Yeah.
But then someone interrupts it, or you turn around and you go, fuck, no limes. Flow state's gone.
Yeah.
So there's
or what's the other one? He used to kill us even back in the day. Yes, mate, no problem. Yes, mate, no problem. This, and a Red Bull vodka.
Yeah.
Your brain just goes, what?
Yeah.
And then you forgot everyone. And you look like, sorry, mate, what do you want to get? You're not very good at this, are you? You know, so
It's vodka Red Bull or Jack and Coke. It's not Coke and Jack or Coke and lemonade and Southern Comfort.
And then you throw that guy and just have one to double Grey Goose and vodka, please.
A double Grey Goose and vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and then they've made a mistake. It's not their fault, and it's just flow state's gone. So there's too many reasons now to kill the flow state. But I love that analogy, and I agree with it. It's a great position to be in, where someone would jump on the bar and go, I just make it one drink, and there's just everyone looking. And Colin and Andy would go, "You're in the weeds, mate." I'm like, they're not waiting; they're watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Big idiot, but they were. I was that guy. People used to take the mick out of me. Where I'd have a Saturday night off at Roadhouse. I'd say to the boss, "Can I come and sit on station 4?" Why? Because I don't want to work down there. I want to work here.
Yeah.
And people make fun of me. I don't care. So
I remember, you used to call me up when we were living, like, when we were going out, let's say.
Dinner and a movie.
You were like, you're like, this is so arrogant. So, do you want to go make some bartenders nervous? Like this? And then you're like, yeah. And our egos were like, walking through lessons, we're like, boom, boom, boom. Because we thought that me and Stretch going to sit on bartenders' stations, they would
this
start
was
shit
way
themselves.
after that.
but we thought, but I mean, it was basically an excuse to go out and get pissed. But yeah, the flow. Do you reckon you could still work a full shift?
Yeah, if the menu had 5 cocktails on it.
And no one was in the building.
No. So you can't walk into John's bar, Dave's bar, Mick's bar and go, right, I got this, because they've got 12 cocktails. You can't learn in an hour. It's not just learning. It's not just learning the specs. It's knowing that you want one of these. Yeah, no problem. I mean, look down.
Sure. Yeah.
And then just like that, everything's there. It's bosh. It's just there. You can't just walk in.
No.
If you've got a pop up where it's just 5 cocktails, like a Bacardi B Live and stuff like that, where you're just like, right, I'm setting up a bar, but then you've got an hour until they even open. You go, right, someone orders this, bang, 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 bang. Someone orders this, bang, bang, bang. I got this. But when you've got 12 and you've got homemade cordials in there, cinnamon,
you can't do it,
mate. That's not my generation. It's not. It's a joke. It's like woo woos.
Can't go wrong, mate. I even when I used to work behind a bar and I used to make spirit mixers and basic cocktails for people. Sometimes, again, it sounds so arrogant. Sometimes I used to make them so quickly that I would surprise myself when it was finished that fast. Because the muscle memory was like. They'd say vodka tonic or mojito. Before they've even finished, you've got the glass in your hand and you're icing up.
Yeah.
And then before the glass is even on the fucking bar top, you've got the vodka, the glass is down, and you've got the tonic, and then like boom. And they've just turned around and gone, Dave! Like that, they turn back and their drink is there.
Yeah.
And that was a great feeling. Yeah. That is the flow state through and through. And I do miss that about being behind the bar.
And again, the feeling about is the multi-ordering when it goes right. And you watch people going, "You watching this?
Yeah.
Serving everyone."
Yeah.
But then that one person that throws you off.
Yeah.
And it's just go. Biggest one for me. Cheers. Biggest one for me was at Roadhouse, where you'd go for a lunch break. It was half an hour. Normally, the shift leader or bar manager would cover that person having their lunch, but sometimes they had other stuff going on. So the whole side of the bar would be empty. Well, you've got your station. That station's empty. And it was pre-9 o'clock, so it weren't super busy, but I just looked up and there's shitloads of people waiting. I thought, bollocks, right, I'm going for it. And I got lucky. I got lucky by saying, yes, mate, 2 vodka Coke. Yes, mate, 2 buds. Yes, mate, 2 vodka Coke. Yes, mate, 2 buds. That's 4, but that's easy.
Normal.
Double.
In Roadhouse.
Yes, mate, 2 mojitos. I'll keep going. Yes, mate, 2 vodka Coke. That's 6 vodka Coke. Easy. Yes, mate, 2 Janko. Got to 13, and it was all simple. No one fucked me. Came down, bam, 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 bam. Put them all out, not a penny moved off the tip trays. And this was when cash was king.
Wow.
And I just took a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm going home now.
But at some point, someone could have absolutely ruined that.
One Red Bull vodka
and 6 old fashions. Shit.
When I used to get those ones and they go 6 old fashions, I'd be like, just forget that one. What do you want, mate? Like that. Like 2 bucks. Yeah, sure.
What was it? Andy, just while we're on flow state. I love Andy, I love you to pieces. Obviously, you're the best man I've ever met. Collinson. Like, I used to work on a bar. Yeah. This wasn't Roadhouse, this was out in Canary Wharf. And he just loved coming on for 10 minutes, doing his one move. But he'd come on the bar and I'd just be like, wow, here he is. So he'd go, yes, mate. And he'd go, 2 strawberry daiquiris. And he'd go, you got them, Steve? Yes, mate. 2 old fashions of a heater.
Steve.
Go away! And he was like, he's literally like,
Someone goes, can I get a vodka Coke? No problem.
he's literally go like that, and go, bar's not flowing. It's like, come on.
But they used to come out going, who's for tea, who's for coffee?
Who's for tea? Oh god, I remember that in years. Who's for tea? Who's for coffee? Yeah, like a 3 deep, like 6'7". Tea, coffee.
Tea, coffee, yeah.
No, dickhead. Come on. But yeah,
Well,
good banter.
The next episode after this is going to be with Mr. Andy Collinson.
So you got a chance to have a comeback on
a
that.
little preview of that, so what's going on. But anyway, few more things I want to speak to you about. What inspires you? What's the thing that makes you inspires you? Pretty simple.
I was asked a similar question by my boss for the company I work for. Professionally, I've never been happier in what I do in life. My work-life balance, my salary, everything is tip top. But he gave me the where do you see yourself in 5 years type thing, or what inspires you. I said, what inspires me is the safety of my family.
Sure.
Simple as that. As long as my wife and child are safe and cared for, that's all I care about.
What about before they were around? Like when you were coming through the ranks and doing your thing, were you inspired by people or things or ideas or
different people? Andy was a massive part of my life. Neil Garnett, yourself, just learning from, and I just want to be remembered for the nice reasons.
Sure.
It just, I didn't have to be the best at anything. I didn't have to be mediocre, but for someone to turn around and go, yeah, I like him, he's all right. I've done it with people that I've met. I've got probably a dozen people that within 10 minutes of meeting them, I go, you're gonna be a friend for a very long time.
Yeah.
We've all had those moments, and those people still are.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just no one ever say it, but it's just like I'd hate it if someone goes, don't like him, can't stand that guy. I'd want to know why. Like what did I do?
To get over it.
Yeah. It's just what inspires me. Just I take every day as it comes and be the best I can be. But with whatever I'm doing, if it wasn't for finishing at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd still be doing this.
Yeah.
But you just get to a point. You're like, oh.
So what you was working at the venture bar?
Yeah. So what made me transition into what I'm doing now is one Christmas, the last Christmas I ever worked behind a bar, I went up to my boss on like the 15th of December and went, there's a year's notice. No, 11 months notice. He went, what are you talking about? I'm never doing this again. This is like my 17th Christmas, 16th Christmas. I'm over it, mate. And I will find something, whether I end up working in a bank or something, I can't. I haven't got the energy for this. I love it. I love customer service. I love enhancing people's nights out and stuff like that. But it's just, when you get in a night bus home at 3 o'clock in the morning from Covent Garden, it's just like, this was fun 15 years ago. Would
you ever own your own bar?
People ask me that still to this day, and I reckon I'd make a good go of it, but I haven't got 70 hours a week to give? Probably not.
What about if you had the money to pay somebody else to do it?
No. That I would do that after 3 years of it being open. It would have to be me. It's my baby. I'd have to be me making sure everything's done the way I wanted it to and the way I prepared it. And once I've got it to that level, then yes, I'd hand it over to someone and pay them a salary.
Yeah.
But what's the point in opening a bar with loads of money in your pocket and going, there you go, that's my bar. But they're running it. It's their baby now. That's my view on it.
Well, no, I understand. I mean, I'm definitely that person that if I was to ever open a bar, I would invest enough to be able to get other people to run it. It'd still be my idea, and so I'd still be the Andy that turns up and goes, "Way."
But then it's but as a business point of view, I mean, that GM, let's say they're 40 grand a year, that's 40 grand a year keeping the business if you're doing it yourself, because the first 2 years are going to be the hardest,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
That's just me with the business
Completely,
side of it. But,
completely.
But and also following everything the way you created it. It's just all of a sudden you pay, oh, I've opened this bar, it's only been open a week, but now you're in charge. And they're going to want to do it their way, even though you're the boss.
Sure.
And you're not going to be there all the time. So, yeah, I haven't got the, I think I had the opportunity a couple of years ago, spoke to a few people, but yeah, I've missed the boat. I've missed the boat. Possibly, if you asked me that 10 years ago, I would have been, what, 27? Maybe, but now, no way.
Okay. So, one question I want to ask everybody: what does Flair bartending? Sorry again. What does Flair bartending or bartending mean to you?
It's a combination of things. Service for one. What bartending or flair, theatre, whatever you call it.
Well, I mean, let me explain. The reason I say flair or bartending or both is flair bartending is something which gets segregated quite often.
In a bad way.
In a bad way, which is fine, which I believe that they're slowly changing that mentality. So flair obviously means something to you. Bartending obviously means something to you, but there must be a crossover point. So what does it mean to you
Well,
what's flair bartending mean to you?
Well, in a nutshell, I like the word theatre more than anything, because I think they all, mixology, craft flair, flair bartending, it all gels into one. I think the word service is a be all and end all of all of that. When you walk into a bar, my strategy every night when I open those doors is that everyone that comes in here, I want them to leave going, that place was awesome, he was awesome, or that team was awesome. Because of that. If I had arrogant bartenders, you're out the door.
Yeah.
I will not stand for arrogant service. I cannot stand it. Even I know some people that can make beautiful drinks, but can't stand people. You're in the wrong job. Remember Light Lounge with Ugo? He was, what a great guy. But he had his bartenders in the kitchen, didn't he?
Yeah.
Go and work there. Go and make these amazing 10 out of 10 cocktails.
In the kitchen.
But this, you're in the wrong job. Chefs are moody as hell because they're out of the way. Someone can't go, can I get a chicken sandwich? 2 chicken sandwiches, what the fuck is, all that, what chefs do. So, what does flair mean? What does bartending mean to me? Service for one, and just at the end of the day, it's all about putting money in the till. And for the first 3 years of bartending, I thought strawberries grew in the fridge. You know what I mean? I didn't know people had to place orders and they got deals on these orders, or you go with this supplier and this supplier and stuff like that. It's all about, I just turned up and made drinks and I want people to spend as much money as possible with me and put it in that till, and then, and everyone's happy. But, yeah, again, I've waffled there. I don't know what the exact answer is.
What about then flair in general? Like, flair for sure has changed your life, has changed my life, bartending as well. Yeah. Does it mean anything specific? Like, it's always going to be a part of you, I guess.
I'd love for you to, someone to just grab 100 people, do a Facebook video or Instagram video, just stop 100 people in the street, show them a video of a guy flaring on the beach or a guy flaring behind the bar, and go, what do you think of that? And get the general public's opinion of it.
Yeah.
Some people, like, that doesn't sound bad, but I'll see a flare video, Facebook or whatever, like, bored. Bored. And there was a couple, and I was like, actually, that's pretty cool. And someone put it in reverse. But it caught my attention. I was like, how do they do that? Oh, it's in reverse.
Yeah.
So it's you're asking the wrong person when it comes to flare, because I love it. I'm passionate about it. It's given me the opportunities to do what I do today, and the place I've seen and the people I've met and the friendships I've made. So it's everything to me. I wouldn't have had the life I've had if it wasn't for Flair Bartending, and it's still fun when you still so what do you do? I sell products into bars and stuff like that, but then you show them a video of me doing a flare. Is that you? yeah. It's my family as well. Like, oh, you're the guy that throws bottles around. And
it's still that niche thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you a horrible, an embarrassing story. So my wife's family, her dad's got 4 brothers and sisters, so loads of cousins, and we're at this party, and everyone's a bit drunk, and it's late. It's about 10 o'clock, and we're in a marquee, and the lights have gone down, and my father-in-law gives me 2 empty red wine bottles in a dark room. I went, go on, Steve, show the kids what you can do. So I've got 14 cousins, drop, smash. And these kids are going, what a dickhead. And I still need to convince them. I'm like, no, I've got videos. No, they still think I'm a
They're
nut.
like, whatever, mate. TikTok.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you can't please everyone. But hey, listen, it's given me a fantastic 17 years. Wouldn't change any of it. And I'm very thankful for it, and who knows what the next 10 bring. I still want to be involved in some way. Like if it wasn't for COVID, I'd have been in Vegas hosting this year. You know, who turns down a trip to Vegas?
No one. Well,
you know, and that can't you hosted in the studio, didn't you? That was different level. We had directors and I've really thought after that Flair was going to the next level.
Yeah.
Tom was. A presenter in a commentator in a studio. I was a live host. We had links to the director, to each other. It was awesome, wasn't
amazing.
it? And when it was finished, I was like, I want to have another go because I watched it back and I was like, oh, I see, because I'd never done that before. And we were supposed to do it again. Well, I was supposed to go again this year, and obviously, you know, coronavirus put a stop to that. But yeah, onwards and upwards, mate.
Well then, so big question: the greatest of all time Flair bartenders,
The GOAT.
the GOAT, GOAT.
Yeah, well, I must stress this is my opinion. There is fringe players. You're one of them. Garner's one of them. There's a few others I watched over the years, but it does come down to me, Nicholas and Christian, because I'm a big football fan, and if that question was asked about football, you would put Ronaldo or Messi for what they bring to the table and their results, and their moves or their skills.
Yeah.
So I would put Christian and Nick in there. Nick, you know, love him or hate him, he would stop people and make him watch him. You never know what was coming. Some of his routines have been incredible. Yes, there is an arrogance to him, but I think that's what makes Nick who he is.
For sure.
And then Christian, completely flip a coin opposite, where he was consistent. What was that comp you told me about? You judged in Asia or something like 35 kids, and everyone was a Christian Del Pes routine.
Yeah, Taiwan.
Right?
120 competitors.
And it was just Del Pes. So what does that tell you, you know? And also, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. When I met him in Vegas for the first time round, we got chatting. I wasn't with him years ago, 15 years ago, so my girlfriend at the time was a girl called Kat. Fast forward a year later, or 6 months later, whatever, I see him again. Chris, how you doing? Yeah, not too bad. How's Kat?
Yeah.
I was like, you're one of the best in the world. You don't have to know that, you know, and that stuck with me.
Yeah.
So, and then what they brought to the table and the amount of world championships, I won't pick one. I can't pick one.
I will not pick one.
You know, if you said Ronaldo or Messi, I reckon you get about 50-50, maybe about 55-45 one way. I reckon the same with Nick or Chris, but I do that. Nowadays, yes, you've got your Tomex, your Mareks, your Alexanders, your Dennis, your Lucas. I think they all come in one group.
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little while ago about competitions, about years ago you'd have six people in the final and any of them can win it. Now you've got 6 and maybe 2 can win it. And you have your super pros, as I like to call it.
Yeah, good point.
Which is a handful of people, which is Tomek Marek, Tomek's not competing anymore. Marek Puszluzny, Alexander Štifanov, Denis Štifanov, Giorgio Chiarello, and I think Eric Yu is going to jump up there pretty soon.
He'll be there soon, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is your super pros.
Yeah.
Everybody else below that, you have your pros.
You missed off Luca.
Sorry, excuse me, Luca Valentin as well, for sure. There may be one other word missed as well elsewhere.
Yeah.
But everybody else below that, I'm sorry to say, you're not in that super pro category yet.
Yeah.
Because you're not bringing anything new to the table. And I can't remember where I was going with this whole. What was it just?
Goat. Now, goat of then, goat now, goat of all time.
And something else. I can't remember. I had a fucking
It's been a long one, isn't it?
It's been a long one.
We've only had 2 of these, by the way.
But Chris, that's what I was going to say. But so you have your super pros now. Back in the day, you had a lot of people who could win competitions. But in terms of Christian and Nicholas, I think the reason why, Nicholas was the one who inspired me back in the grand finals of Roadhouse 2000. I didn't know about Christian at that point, but Christian was in America, Nicholas was in Europe. We don't know much about Asia and what inspiration they had. I think Mitsuhiro Kaneshiro was probably one of the biggest inspirations over there, and a few other people. But Nicholas and Christian, one was ruling Europe so much, one was ruling Americas. And then, they inspired a lot of people. Obviously, everything crossed over. Christian came over to Europe. Nicholas came over to America. And for sure, they definitely were a huge inspiration for our generation. The new generation, which is probably most of the people watching this right now, is the Tom McMallick. Tom McMallick, 4-time Roadhouse Grand Final winner.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me.
Just a casual 40 grand that.
Exactly. This has got a new house. Alexander Stefanov, who is just ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
Marek Porzeluzny, who's just insane. Giorgio Carello for the Italian Flair Bartenders. Luca Valentin taking it to another level. Bruno Van Zandt, who's turned is an A-list celebrity.
Yeah, he's
in
well
Italy.
famous, isn't he?
You're like, what?
Yeah.
It's just insane. But yeah, it's
That's great for Flair though as well. At the
it's
end of the day,
fantastic
yeah.
for Flair.
Brilliant.
I mean, let's not take away from Mika. What's his fucking second name?
A finish.
Yeah.
Mechadia.
No,
He told me. See, let's have this out. I went up to him right before it, because even on the video, you could see him going, it's mojito. But he told me to pronounce it. Mechadia.
So Mika.
Right, comments. How do we...
Mika Mechadia, or Meteo, and Rene, I can't really say, I'm sorry. They did Finland's Got Talent and won.
Right.
So anyway, I'm kind of going off on a piece here. You got Luca Valentin, who did well in his Got Talent, Neil Garner, Neil Larry, their Got Talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
It shows there's a market for it, right?
there's a huge market for it. But let's finish off for the people who actually got this far to the catch.
Oh, highlight of my Flair career, and it wasn't even me on stage.
Do you know what I love about that is that every now and again,
I take it there's a video of this showing right now as we're talking.
for
about
sure, well, I'll just keep replaying it in slow-mo and everything.
it. Both angles.
Both angles, yeah. And the best thing about it is that I'll watch it, and I know that I'll watch my routine, and I know the last minute and a half is the best part of the routine.
Hands down.
And then I'll just watch it, finish watching it, and I'll text you going, watch it again. Or you'll watch it and just send me a picture. Yes, watch it again.
Same, yeah.
And it's, for those who've not seen it, you've now seen it on the clip. And that routine was obviously my last one, and a few people knew about it. You obviously knew about it.
Yeah.
I bought T-shirts for you guys to wear, and it's just one of those moments which I'm so glad got captured on
Couldn't
on
script
film.
it. Couldn't script any of
Could
it.
not. We could not have done it better.
No.
And the best part about it, if you watch it, and it's playing now over and over. The best part about it, which I noticed the more I watch it, is how in sync we were the moment you walked on stage. Like, I'm doing this thing, I'm pulling the thing out my mouth, like that. You see that happening, you're coming behind me, it's gone up, I've gone like this, you've gone like that.
I'm using the mic the same way you're doing the
exactly,
bottle.
man.
Well, let me give you my take
Go
on
on.
it. So even before it happened, I knew you were going to do two objects only, but I didn't want to introduce you as that.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say during this. I
Yeah.
don't know how this is going to go. Fuck, you need to think on the fly here. And it went, from strength to strength. The last minute and a half was unbelievable. When you hit the tamp bump, slap, slap, and myself and Antonio, like, Ollie had to contain me. Like, he had to go, sit down. I was like, that's unbelievable. That's my biggest, that's me as a Flair fan right there. And I'm like, right, 5 seconds to go. I normally come on stage and count them down. And I thought you were done. And then I see you biting the bottle, and I'm like, he's not done. Shit, get out of the way, quick. And you can't write this. 3, 2, 1, bang, clean on your chin. I make some noise like this, and I just walk away. I don't look.
No.
That bottle could have hit me square in the head.
Completely.
And it just flows in front of my eye shot. I'm still not looking at the bottle, and I just went, I'll have that. Bang, and then. And my only two regrets from that is I didn't keep the bottle. I wish I kept it.
Yeah.
And that's the last ever bottle you threw as a competitor. And I swore. So I did the please applaud for this guy for his career.
Yeah.
So his last ever comp. And then I swore, so what a fucking awesome routine. I was just like, if you could change anything, you shouldn't have swore.
But it was okay.
But mate, when people comment like the catch at the end, the tandem at the end, it was like that just happened. And again, so Nicholas we talked about earlier, and then that by far my two favourite moments of Flair, and both of them 5 feet away. One of them was 1 feet away.
Both of them, you were basically part of the show.
And mate, and it was just people still talk about it today, mate. Like we're not talking about the catch anymore. That routine, what a way to say goodbye. Andy's article that he wrote. Beautiful, like well said, spot on. Like you basically conceded the fact of trying to be world championship for the for the benefit of Flair. And let's be honest, if you had a fair few drops, if you didn't drop, you'd have been up there. You'd have been up there, which really should have opened a lot of people's eyes there. And Jumbles did it the year later and smashed it out of the park as well.
Exactly.
So no, fair play to you, and it's definitely my highlight, and yeah, great way to sign off, pal. Absolutely loved it, and yeah, to do that. It could have gone wrong in so many ways.
And just the one thing that I don't think anybody knows, I never planned to do that at the end.
Brilliant.
It was never part of the final, but I always forget in the practice and to put it in there.
Yeah.
And I realise, all right, I've got 5 seconds. I'm about done.
And the fact you hit it though, because sometimes it'll take you twice.
Yeah.
And that takes like 70% off it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But after a routine like that, and got right, I'm signing off. Boom.
Because I'm ripping the thing out because if I'm planning it, it's there in the speed rail ready to do.
Yeah.
If I'm pulling it out of my teeth,
You're
it's not ready.
That's
I need to get that pour spout out, and there's probably liquid in that bottle. So
I've thought about that actually. I said that must be like Bacardi coming down your chin or something.
You go to do the move, and you're like, this is either going to make me look super fucking badass, or it's going to destroy everything. Because the ending of your routine is the part.
Risk.
Big risk.
Yeah.
And it just came off so perfect.
Thank
you very much.
Mate, no, thank you. I know quality. Just the fact that it's like, there's a bottle. I'm going to catch it. Bang.
But anyway.
And then when I walked away, it didn't register. I was just like,
no.
I kind of forgot about it till we watched it back. And I was like, oh yeah, I did catch it, didn't I? That was quality. Yeah, good times.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, oh fuck me. I'm a little bit pissed after those couple of cocktails, but thank you very much.
Got 20 questions, didn't you?
Oh shit, I do, yes.
I've been looking forward to this. You better cut it off.
And this is 20 questions in 2 minutes.
Good.
I'm not going to time it because you should get it done in 2 minutes.
All right.
It is a case, it's a case of answering the questions, the first answer that comes into your mind.
No problem.
Mostly bartender Flair related, but
what's your favourite pie?
there's a couple of red herrings in there, should we
Okay.
say. Let's see if this is going to unlock. Oh no, that's not my fucking passcode, is it? There we go. So, 20 questions, 2 minutes. Your time starts now. How old are you?
37.
What's your favourite rum?
Don Q.
Best cocktail in the world?
Old fashioned.
If you were stranded on a desert island, which one thing could you not live without?
My wife.
Best advice you ever received?
Rewind. My wife and son. 2 things. Come on.
Oh. Best advice you ever received?
Be true to yourself.
Best bar you've ever been to?
Carnival Court.
Oh. Who's your favourite bartender?
Rene Garcia.
What colour is your toothbrush?
I got it. Bought a new one yesterday. Blue and white.
Oh, nice. If you could be any animal in the world, what would it be?
An elephant.
Do you have a life motto or a saying?
No.
Hang on a second. Elephant. Why is that?
Because they're
Big
just cool.
fucking-
They're nice. Yeah. Just
Do you have a life motto or saying?
No, not really.
Okay.
Oh no. Yeah. Do things until you're told not to.
Coffee, yes or no?
Yes.
Favourite airline?
Emirates.
Emirates. Best bottle to flare with?
Portobello Road.
He's such a liar. Weapon of choice?
Sword.
Shot of choice?
Jaeger.
Gold or silver?
Gold.
Sunset or sunrise?
Sunset.
What annoys you?
Nagging.
Oh. Your greatest failure?
Not becoming a millionaire.
He's still got time. And finally, describe Flair Bartending in 3 words.
Service, theatre, fun.
Wow. There you go. Thank you very much, Steve Stretch Harman. Just to sign off, don't forget, comment down below if you want to win one of these bad boys. Big thank you to Stretch. Thank you so much. Really.
Mate, I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for having me. Any questions? I'm not in social media. I haven't got followers or anything. But any questions? Put them in the thing and then ring the bell.
There's a comments box below. Ring the bell.
Everyone on YouTube, ring that bell. Ring the what the fucking hell is the bell?
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the little bell so you can be notified every time I upload new videos. But anyway, no, seriously, thank you very much.
Mate,
I really
thank you for
appreciate
having me. That was awesome.
I think we'll probably do another one in the future to
Let's do it.
recap. But yeah, amazing. Say goodbye, Stretch.
Goodbye, Stretch.
Ciao.
Ciao. I need a whip.